What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God!
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Cuddy say can't hang.
Oh, stewardess, I speak jive.
Oh, good.
He said that he's in great pain and he wants to know if you can help him.
All right, would you tell him to just relax and I'll be back as soon as I can with some medicine?
Just hang loose, blood. She's gonna catch up on the rebound on the med side.
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, however good it feels, however many times you've done it, and however many times you're going to do it again, and why you're doing it in the first place. I'm just glad you're doing it right here with me on Legal Vices, my channel, Legal Vices, which I call Legal Vices because I'm Legal Vices. Thank you, car outside. Thank you for ruining the intro, car outside, because this is my channel and I have a creative name. There you go. That's it. We have an update on the YNW MELLY case. We have several updates. We have updates to updates. There's a lot to get through, and that's what we're going to do here. I'm glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's get right into it because we have a lot of ground to cover. Where do we start? We got to start, as always, with the cocktail of the day. Now, again, the rules for the cocktail of the day are always, I always double everything because, hey, there's more of it. So if you want to follow along with me, do the measurements. That remind you, they're all doubled. So if you want to do a normal size cocktail, just have the recipe. So today, Today, we need 3 ingredients. We need Benedictine, which is a great liqueur. We need a dry vermouth, but rather than dry vermouth, I prefer a Lillet Blanc, which is kind of the same thing, but more delicious. And Irish whiskey. For Irish whiskey, I'm using Bushmills because I'm not using my Redbreast 12 for a cocktail. Today, the cocktail of the day is called the Brainstorm. For the Brainstorm, you want to take a mixing glass with ice in it. Pour yourself 4 ounces of Irish whiskey. Pour it straight into the ice, mixing glass. Next, you're going to want to add 1 ounce of Benedictine. Finally, add yourself 1 ounce of dry vermouth or Lillet Blanc. Give it a good stir to chill it and slightly dilute it with your bar spoon. Get it nice and chilled. Then strain it into a cocktail coupe glass. Right here. And a double should just fill it right to the top. And then for a garnish, take a lemon peel and just give it a big twist. Express your lemon right over the top of the cocktail. Get those amazing lemon oils expressed right into the cocktail. And kind of treat it on the rim. And there you have the Brainstorm cocktail. Oh, it's so good. Light. It's fruity. It's sweet at the same time. A little bit of that lemon expressed on it just tastes so good. There you go. That's the cocktail of the day, and the Brainstorm is a good one. I like that. All right. Give me a quick second here while I collect all of my my cocktail paraphernalia. And the fuck is that? That's the Bushmills. This is the top of the Bushmills. So many things here. How are we all doing today, by the way? God, that is so good. Benedictine has such an interesting taste to it. It's nice herbal liqueur that's just fantastic. Benedictine is part of like some of my favorite cocktails. And Lillet Blanc, I just love. Ever since I had my first Vesper, which is sort of based on the James Bond character Vesper, which uses Lillet Blanc, I've fallen in love with Lillet Blanc, and I use that pretty much exclusively, even when the recipe calls for a dry vermouth. Oh, that's so good. All right, and then the lemon, we got the lemon out of the way, got the lemon peel. All right, we are ready to get down to business. I need an assistant to clean up after my dumbass. All right, everybody. So welcome to the YNW Melly trial. I don't know how many of you followed the original trial with me, but we covered the whole thing gavel to gavel, and we're going to do the retrial as well because he was charged. He and his co-defendant driver Bortland, YNW Melly and YNW Bortland, were charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. And YNW Melly is facing the death penalty in Florida if he's convicted of the crime. Now, if you'll remember, after the Scott Peterson school shooting trial, where he was found not to be sentenced to death by 9 jurors, 9 out of 12, the sentenced him to death and 3 didn't. The court made it so that only 8 in the state of Florida, if you're found guilty and you're facing the death penalty, only 8 of the 12 jurors have to say you are sentenced to death for the state to legally kill you. It doesn't require a unanimous jury to sentence you to death. It requires a unanimous jury to find you guilty, but only 8 of those 12 jurors have to agree to sentence you to death. And YNW Melly is one of the first defendants to face the death penalty under this 8 out of 12 new rule in Florida. So there's a lot riding on this case. And the first case ended in a mistrial because the jury was hung. How hung were they? That's a personal question. Anyway, it ended up with a hung jury, so it resulted in a mistrial. And the retrial, according to local laws, as I understand them, the retrial has to start, if the prosecution plans on retrying them, has to start within 3 months of the mistrial date. And so that is October 9th. Jury selection is scheduled to begin October 9th, Monday. Are we going to be following the jury selection if it's broadcast? First of all, I don't think it's going to be streamed. Second of all, if it does, here and there if we have nothing better to do. Why? Because the defense has estimated that starting Monday, jury selection might possibly be concluded by the end of November. They are estimating 2 months for jury selection in order to find a fair and impartial jury. Flux says, my favorite Jeff. Flux, you're one of my damn favorites too. And Flux is going to be setting up a stream probably for about 12 hours from now, where we're just going to shoot the shit over on Flux's channel, houseofflux.com or whatever. House of Flux. It's her YouTube channel, House of Flux, all one word, 2 X's, House of Flux. She's going to set up a stream and we're just going to shoot the shit because I love Flux to death. She's super hot. She's super cool. She's super nice. And we haven't had a chance to just sit and talk for a while. So that's what we're going to do over on her channel just about 12 hours from now. So set that up, Flux. And let's see, we've got a couple of other things here. Lacey Pettit with the member for 8 months, the Larax Vice Squad forever. Larax, Lacey Pettit, you are a great supporter. Thank you so much. And Patricia Machado, member for 10 months, just says, Patricia Machado, member for 10 months. Enough said. Joe Pottinger, who's been a member for 4 months, sod being in the clean and sober term. I'm off to make myself one of them there brainstorm cocktails. If you have the Bushmills or any other Irish whiskey, I'm just using a mid-tier because Jameson, I'm not a huge fan of Jameson. Jameson sort of tastes like gasoline to me. But Tullamore Dew, Bushmills, any good mid-level I mean, don't put your top shelf whiskeys into a cocktail. It's just sad, unless they're like the really special cocktails. But mainly just kind of use your mid-tier. Don't use garbage because it'll taste like garbage. Use mid-tier. If you have a good mid-tier Irish whiskey, Benedictine and some dry vermouth or Lillet Blanc, it's a great cocktail. So yeah, go get one of them there brainstorm cocktails. And that brings us back here. And there are updates to the updates to the updates, because we are right on the verge of jury selection beginning. And as I just mentioned a minute ago, the jury selection is expected to go for 2 months. Yeeps. That's a long time. And I don't know if they're going to stream it, or if so, how much they're going to stream it. But well, we might do some updates every now and then. If they do stream the jury selection, we'll do the first day, maybe once a week or something, just to see what's going on and to make sure we're on top of the situation. But that they had a status hearing about a week ago, and that was one thing that was determined. Jury selection will start on the 9th, possibly. I should say possibly, because there's actually one thing I have to do right now, because one of the updates we're going to be talking about is the subject of a hearing today. Let me bring up Law and Cuck here. Oh, damn it. I hate everything. There is a hearing on one of the motions today. Oh, that's right. I don't even know where to start with this because there's so much going on. There is a trial hearing today, and Law and Crime is covering it. So I guess we should probably start there. It's way out of sequence. I didn't want to go here. There's so much I wanted to do before we got to this point, but I don't think we're going to get there in time. So the first thing we need to talk about today, before we go, we'll have to backtrack a little bit later and talk about other things. But the first thing we got to talk about is YNW Melly's motion. The defense filed a motion to remove the Broward County prosecutors from the case. They want the prosecutors taken off the case, and that's what the hearing is about today. Why on earth would they possibly want these prosecutors off the case? Well, there's an article, and then we got the motion for that. We got the motion. Hey, sorry, I was going like full on Mark Knopfler there in Dire Straits. Here we go. This is the article dealing with this particular issue. YNW Melly's lawyer wants to remove the Broward County prosecutor's office from the case, but why? Oh, and by the way, he does have a new lawyer. The other two guys, they're out. New guy is in. Raven Liberty is still there. Thank God for that little miracle. But after a busy week of filing with court, and yeah, we're going to talk about all these court filings that have gone on before and after this article came in. After a busy week filled with court filings, YNW Melly's legal team is asking the judge to bar the prosecutor and her colleagues from retrying the double murder case. The rapper's defense lawyers on Friday urged Broward County Court Judge John Murphy to recuse all employees from the state attorney's office for the 17th Judicial District from retrial. The filing was centered around Miramar Police Detective Mark Moretti's alleged wrongdoing. And we're going to talk about these wrongdoings here in just a little bit. And a supposed cover-up by the state attorney's office. Not just the prosecutors, but the higher-ups in the state attorney's office have been accused of a cover-up of one of the detectives' wrongdoings. A theory the defense has incorporated into its strategy. In essence, there are too many witnesses from the 17th Judicial Circuit Court State Attorney's Office for this state attorney's office to remain as the prosecutors in this case. This is the prosecutor here. She's got some problems. According to the motion, Melly, 24, whose real name is Jamel Demmons, is accused of gunning down. And by the way, who better to talk about the double murder case of a black rapper from Florida than a white expat cowboy lawyer from Utah? Nobody. That's who. Me. I'm the expert. Melly, 24, whose real name is Jamel Demmons, is accused of gunning down his childhood friends, Anthony Williams and Christopher Thomas Jr., a.k.a. YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie. After an alleged drive-by after spending the night of October 26th at a Fort Lauderdale recording studio. Williams and Thomas, both aspiring rappers with the YNW Collective, were known as YNW Sack Chaser and YNW Juvie, respectively. He's among the first defendants to go to trial after Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law to lower the threshold for death sentence from to an 8-4 jury vote from the previous requirements of a unanimous vote. That's what we just talked about. So what's happening? In late August, defense attorneys learned that Moretti, the lead detective, if you saw the trial, you saw him testify. He had some strong testimony, but there was a lot of impeachment that went into the cross-examination. The lead detective in the case was under investigation for an incident involving excessive use of force against a potential witness. Which witness? That's an interesting thing. So the lead detective is under investigation for excessive use of force against one of the potential witnesses. They accused prosecutor Christine Bradley of a Brady violation. A Brady violation, again, for those of you that don't know, is the prosecution has a duty to turn over evidence that could or may lead to the finding of innocence. Basically, the prosecutor has to turn over evidence that is against their case and supports the defense. Anything that would exculpate the defendant, they have to turn it over. They didn't, allegedly. They accused prosecutor Christine Bradley of a Brady violation or concealing information favorable to the defense for allegedly not divulging details about an incident involving Moretti. Under Florida law, prosecutors are required to disclose any information that may be favorable to the defense. The discovery of Brady violations in some cases have even led to overturned convictions. Yes, they have. Bradley in court documents said that Moretti was taking a statement from Jamie King, Melly's mother. So the lead detective is being accused of using excessive force against YNW Melly's mother in a conference room on the 7th floor of the Broward Courthouse. Prosecutor Michelle Boutros, we're going to hear her name a lot tonight. King's attorney Robert Trockman and Broward Sheriff's Office Sergeant Jason Hendrick were present at the time. At some point, Hendrick stepped out and Moretti executed a search warrant for King's phone. King is Melly's mom, according to the Bradley filing. Shortly after BSO Deputy Adam Gorel arrived at the conference room, Moretti, according to the prosecutor Boutros, subsequently told Gorel that he should say he was present when he executed the search warrant. Now, this is according to the prosecutor. The prosecutor is saying that Moretti told the deputy that he should say he was present when the search warrant was executed. This isn't some bullshit being made up by the defense. This is the prosecutor saying that Moretti told the deputy he should say he was present when the search warrant was executed when he wasn't. That is huge. Moretti later asked Gorel whether he was there when the phone was taken, and Gorel said something along the lines of, "I can be if you needed me to be." This is the prosecution saying this happened. This is huge, and we're going to talk more about it. According to a filing by Christopher Killeran, a prosecutor with a public corruption unit, Moretti told Bradley that the statements he made to Gorel and Gorel's response were merely jokes. Yeah, jokes. Ha ha ha, because a defendant is fucking facing the death penalty. That's a pretty fucking funny joke. Let's just say, just tell them you were there when we were executing a search warrant and using allegedly excessive force against the defendant's mother to get her cell phone, which we're going to talk about later. So what's the defense arguing now? While defense attorneys said they are still trying to unwind exactly what transpired, they claim that decisions on what to do about Moretti incident reached the highest realm of the state attorney's office. Their recent filing also shed more light into their questioning of Boutros. Again, we said we're going to hear a lot about Boutros as the night goes on, the prosecutor who witnessed the incident. Very shortly after the deposition, Ms. Boutros let her superiors know of Detective Moretti's willingness to fabricate evidence. So Prosecutor Boutros told her superiors that this detective, the lead detective on the case, has said he is willing to fabricate testimony. And then she also informed her superiors that she would never work with Detective Moretti on a case. Can't wait till we get to that part of the motion. We got a lot to say about that. This is literally a prosecutor saying she will never work on a case with this detective because he said he is willing to fabricate evidence against a defendant. Holy crap. That, again, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but that is huge. Oh my God. Yeah, so that's where we're sitting right at this moment. The rapper's legal team said that they plan to call Boutros. They're planning to call a prosecutor as a witness for the defense. Wrap your little skulls around that one, Vice Squad. They may even call Bradley, as she had conversations with Moretti about the incident. They may call the lead prosecuting woman as a witness for the defense in the retrial. This is going to be insane. This is crazy. That, however, would raise issues. Oh, you think calling the lead prosecutor as a witness is going to raise issues? Hell yeah. Nothing could destroy a witness' credibility more than her own office calling another witness to contradict her, the filing argues. Prosecutors and defense attorneys will discuss the request with Murphy at a hearing scheduled for Friday. We're waiting for the hearing to start right now. Right now. That's what we're waiting for. So, let's take a look at this motion while we're waiting for the trial to start, should we? I mean, this is crazy. This is literally nuts. No poll today. No, we don't have a poll today. Why? Because quite frankly, I didn't have enough time to set one up. I was over on Hayden Aussie Overlord's channel watching lingerie football. That was frankly more important. Hey, don't call us stupid. Yeah, Portly Mormon. I didn't call you stupid. I just said you're wrapping around your little brains. Little brains doesn't necessarily mean stupid. It just means this is a huge, huge case. It far eclipses the size of our brains, but thank you very much. Let's go, Brandon. We're glad to have you here. And let's see what we got going here. Sonny or Chris, who's been a member for 11 months, says good morning all. And he also sent a $2 super chat to kick off the super chat extravaganza. Hopefully, with 2 months of jury selection, WT Actual F is up with that. He's a famous rapper. The first jury selection took a long time as well. It took several weeks. Now they're saying because more people know about the case, it's going to take more time to seat an impartial jury. So they're hoping to be done by the end of U.S. Thanksgiving, which is the last Thursday of November. So this might start on the final Monday of November. And all right, while we are stopped here and waiting, we got 383 concurrent viewers here and 140 likes. Come on, people. Like nearly a bunch of you. Nearly like 250 of you haven't done your job. Get down there and hit that like button. Come on, like and subscribe. Make sure we're set up because we have a lot to cover in this case and we don't want to shortchange it. So let's make sure we're still here. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get on with this. Now let's see. We don't have any more super chats, so let's bring up this motion. This is a very interesting motion. So I wanted to save this for last, but it looks like the hearing could start at any time. So let me bring us on up. Let's go, Brandon. Haha, famous rapper. Well, so they tell me, because again, who knows more about Florida, inner city rap than the old white cowboy dude from Utah living in Korea. He's getting an old white jury. I don't know, but he's got an old white lawyer commentating on him here, so that's all I know. Right. Vice needs I have a pimp cup. Next time I have to take a bathroom break, I'll get my pimp cup. I have an official Johnny Depp Mega Pint Legal Vices pimp cup. I haven't broke out the pimp cup in a while, so that's what we're gonna do. Why did you steal Sam Elliott's mustache? Oh, Sam Elliott's mustache is so much better than mine. Right. Let's bring this up. Share screen. Share window. Uh-oh, got to bring up, got to embiggen this. And oh gosh, dang it. You know what? It's going to be uncomfortable if I sit here for the next little while. So give me about 1 minute and I will be right back. I need the I'll be back in 1 minute video clip made here, but hang on, I'll be right back. The seal has been broken. Hi, everybody. I'm back.
How dare you?
Hey, sometimes you just have to. Whew. There we go. Apologies. I have had a lot of water to drink today. Ozzy Overlord with the $5 super chat. Seriously, you missed a little person in a monkey suit being drop kicked by a Mexican wrestler, and the hearing hasn't even started yet. I don't even know what to say. Ozzy Overlord, thank you very much, I think. Thank you for the super chat. And $5 also from Really Weird Shit. Jeff is just happy to finally have the reason to use the phrase, "This is huge." Well, I hear that a lot. I just don't have a chance to use it myself. Yeah. Anyway, right. The Lemon song, I think it was Led Zeppelin. I would probably use Robert Johnson's Squeeze My Lemon. That's probably the song I would use. But anyway. Alrighty, folks. Here is, let me check on the trial. Nope, they have not started the hearing yet. Let me embiggen this to the possible embiggening. Yes, I know. Embiggen. Right. This is the motion to dismiss. Oh, wrong one. That's the one we're going to look at next. This is the one we want. Boom. The motion to recuse State Attorney's Office of the 17th Judicial Circuit in and for Broward County, Florida. This is the motion that's built around what we were just talking about. Kicking the prosecutors, not one of them, not two of them, all of them off the case for improper conduct, or dare we say misconduct. Right. Oh, we've done those. We're up to date on the super chats, it looks like, and the monthly memberships. Let's move on. Righty. Comes now the defendant. Well, that's rather personal information. Comes now the defendant, Jamel Demons, by and through undersigned counsel, and moves the honorable court pursuant to this rule, Florida Rules of Criminal Procedure, to issue an order recusing the state's attorney for the 7th Judicial Circuit and the state attorney's office for the 17th Judicial Circuit and all of its employees from any part of the prosecution in the above styled cause. As grounds for said motion, the defendant states the following. Here is their allegations. The defendant is currently charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and faces the possibility of death as a sentence. 2, the defendant has previously gone through trial and on this matter, and said trial ended in a hung jury. Huge. The defendant is scheduled to begin trial on this matter on October 9th, 2023. Wait, what? Are you shitting me? We get 1 page of this? What? Whoa. Wait, why do we only get 1 page of this? Hello, everyone. This is why you check things out before you start your stream. Holy squeeze box, what is up with this? But thankfully, I have the link here. Hang on, this is supposed to be a 5-page motion. All right, where are we at here? Recuse State's Attorney's Office. Bang. I'm bringing it up. It is 1 page. They've only got 1 page uploaded. Well, shit. They've only got 1 page uploaded on the state's web. God dang, it says page 1 of 5. Yeah, where's page 2, 3, and 4, may I ask, and 5? You dirtbags. Well, I see they're only letting us do 1 page. All of them are that way. But how come they gave me all 5 pages for the other one? God dang it. Real time sucks. Purchase certified documents online. Shall we do an actual live purchase? Oops, something went wrong. You could not process your request. All right. Oh, this is fun, isn't it? Oh dear God, please court, please start this hearing soon. Save me from this horrific situation. Oh hell. Florida reason we are just not connecting over here on VPN line here. You dirt pigs. Huh. All right. Apparently every work is offensive in a member chat. Every word, you mean? Was the word offensive? Click the next button at the top, Jeff. The next button at the top. What next button at the top? I see no next button at the top. This is only a 1 page. It says 1 of 1 page. That is all. It says 1 of 1. In other words, they let you read the first page and then you have to buy the rest of the document. Damn it. Well, I'll show them. I'll just flounder aimlessly here online while you people stare at me. All right, it's about time to make a command decision here. You scumbags, how dare you? Ugh. That hurts my soul that they would do this to me. It let me download them, and why wouldn't I assume that they let you download the actual entire document? Press the any key, Jeff. That always works, right? Even my VPN isn't working. What the hell? Oh, I hate everybody and everything tonight. This is no fun. All right, well, shit. We're just going to have to go back to our regularly scheduled programming, which is just me floundering wildly about and hoping things work out for the best in the end. Talk about the Portland thing. We'll get to Portland. All right, what we're just going to do is, damn it, because there's some really good information on this. Shit. Well, we'll just have to hear the arguments as they're made. Thank you, Lizbots, for being a member for 7 months. I just hate myself that I didn't even bother to check to see if there was a page 2. And Stephen Walk, thank you also for being a member for 3 months. Wouldn't you just assume that if it goes, oh, here's the first page, oh, you can download it, that you would be able to download the entire document? Well, apparently not. So, all right, let's go back to the shit here. Right. So what we're just going to do, we're going to go back to what I was planning on doing originally. Oh, and I don't even know why my VPN is an awesome VPN, and it just suddenly decided it was going to stop working. But whatevs. We've got quite the show lined up here, so quit that stupid VPN. You suck. All right. Ginger with a sole member for 7 months said, I always think of funny things to say when I don't have a free chat. And then when I have a free chat, I don't know what to say. Hi, Jeff. Hi, Ginger with a soul. Good to see you. And thank you for supporting for 7 months and supporting for 9 months. Casper Anderson, 9 months. Jeff, check your chat. MG Law Nick Star, I've sent you links to the same thing. My chat. Aha. MG Law has not sent me anything. Lies, all lies. Nick has sent me a deal here. Motion to remove from the case. All right, it's a non-downloadable Reddit document, but Nick, thank you so much. It is better than nothing. I had like the first 3 pages from Twitter. But all right, we'll do this. All right, everybody. No, never mind. We're gonna do this. Apologies, and I would not blame any of you if you took all of your likes back for this video, but please don't. Please give me more likes because I need more likes to feel validated and feel like people love me. And to my lovely clip editor, just edit out this whole thing and make it pretend like it looks like I have everything ready to go. That would be awesome. Just clip out me fumbling around like a moron for a while. All right, let's see. We're going to have to embiggen this as much as possible. Okay, folks, here we go. As soon as we hit Sonia or Chris's $10 super chat. Super chat. I say this is a lifelong resident. If the other swamp state, Louisiana, Florida is the state the rest of the South looks at and states, bless their hearts. Chappie, thank you so much, Sonia Chris. Chappie, member for 2 months, asks, have you tried turning it off and back on? Well, I was, but I can't. I don't even have a CD tray for this. Otherwise, I'm going to make a joke about it shutting my coffee holder. But anyway, bye, Franz. Nicholas sent a link. Thank you so much. We've got the link. We are, I think, ready to go. But MG Law didn't send one that I can see. So shame on you. Shame on you. Righto. Here we go. Let me banish this to the nether regions where it belongs and bring up the motion as best I can. And let me double check on the trial here. I don't want to miss the start of the hearing because I've been jerking around here for however long I've been jerking around for. Choo. Right. Oh, there we are. All right. There still has been no start to the trial. I'm just going to refresh the law and cuck page just to be sure. Yep. Cool. All righty. We should get some notification when that starts. So here we are on the Reddit page. Let's see if we can. No, we can't scroll up the Reddit thing. So deal with the Reddit part up at the top. Nothing we can do. Ladies and germs, here is the beginning of the let's go, Brandon. Hit the like button, or I push Jeff into the DMZ. Push me into the DMZ. God, I need a drink. Please push me into the DMZs. Hopefully in the minefield. Liam 007, a full depot of ASA Boutros. Yes, I have her deposition. It's 90 pages long, so we can't read that. The deposition I have, the full 98 pages or 89 pages or whatever the hell it is the supporting affidavit for this motion. It's one of the motions filed. It's wild to read. It kind of is. but I don't have time to read the 89 pages of it. So let's just read this 5-page motion. Let's start again. Comes now, that's twice in 10 minutes. The defendant, Jamel Timmons, by and through undersigned counsel, and moves his honorable court, blah, blah, blah. The defendant is currently charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and faces the possibility of death as a sentence. 2, the defendant has previously gone through trial on this matter, and the trial ended in a hung jury. The defendant is scheduled to start trial again in this matter on October 9th. Monday. 4. However, this is where it gets good. This is probably why they make you pay for it. However, in the past week, the defense has learned of a blatant Brady violation. Again, a Brady violation is the failure to turn over evidence exculpatory or favorable to the defendant. The prosecution has a duty to do that whether you ask for it or not. So they're saying they blatantly failed to turn over evidence that was helpful or advantageous to YNW Melly, i.e., the lead detective in this case, Detective Mark Moretti, solicited another officer, that being a BSO deputy, to lie for him and state that the deputy was present when Detective Moretti served a search warrant on Ms. King. Ms. King being YNW Melly's mother. If you can remember back to when I wasn't floundering and hopefully finding this case, thank you again, Nicholas. Detective Moretti, the lead detective on the case, allegedly executed this search warrant against YNW Melly's mother and allegedly used excessive force in getting her cell phone when he was apparently the only person in the room, and he solicited, he says it was a joke, but he allegedly solicited to lie for him. Okay, it looks like the hearing is starting. So I'm going to pause this. We will watch it as soon as I finish this motion. So we're going to be 5 or 10 minutes behind. After we get to this motion, we'll start the stream because the court is now in session with Judge John J. Murphy III presiding. So yeah, he said to this guy, if they ask you, tell them you were present when I executed the search warrant. And he said, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. And it was so egregious that one of the prosecutors on this case said she would never work on a case with Mark Moretti again because he has said that he would lie about this. So 5, there is no dispute. Let me make sure I can see myself here. Boom. Yeah. 5, there is no dispute that in fact the deputy was not present. The prosecutors, the detectives, everybody acknowledges the guy that said he would lie and the guy that Moretti asked to lie was not there. 6, very shortly after the deposition, Ms. Boutros, another prosecutor, let her superiors know of Detective Moretti's willingness to fabricate testimony. Again, she informed those superiors that she would never work with Detective Moretti on a case. He was the lead detective. He was the star witness for the prosecution in the first trial. Can you imagine if they get him on the stand in the second trial, that cross-examination? Can you imagine the cross-examination in that case? Detective Moretti, have you ever in your career asked someone to lie for you and say they were there when this search warrant was when a search warrant was served? If he says no, they call one of the prosecutors as a witness to rebut him and to impeach him. If he says yes, game over. The jury hears that this guy has asked people to lie for him in the past. Can you imagine they call on when they impeach him? Have you ever done this? Second question. Isn't it true that there are prosecutors sitting over here or that have worked on the previous trial? There are prosecutors that have said that they will not work with you because you are willing to lie and fabricate evidence in a capital murder case. This is cooked. I could see the trial going either way originally. I eventually decided that they probably had enough evidence to convict him, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't. Now, in this case, their lead detective is fucking toast, regardless how this goes. This is not going to go well for the prosecution on the retrial. I mean, I would never predict how the jury would go, but oof, if they put their star detective, the lead detective on this case on the stand, and the first question is, have you ever asked someone to lie for you? And the second question is, are there prosecutors that will not work with you because of your willingness to lie and fabricate evidence in a capital murder case? Done. Goose cooked. Yikes. So yes, she informed her superiors that she would never work with Detective Moretti on a case. So since October 2022, prior to any trial commencing in this cause, Assistant State Attorney Christine Bradley, who was assigned to the case, knew of this Brady material. So before the first trial started, they knew this guy had committed this violation. They knew that the prosecutor's office had not turned over evidence favorable to Melly. Yet they still went ahead with the trial. On September 29, 2023, just a few days ago, counsel for the defense was able to depose Assistant State Attorney Michelle Boutros. Again, we're going to hear a lot about her today. The undersigned is the lawyers, is still trying to unwind exactly what transpired within the state attorney's office. It is safe to say, based on what was divulged at deposition of Ms. Boutros, that should Detective Moretti be called as a witness in this case, if the prosecution calls lead detective Moretti as a witness in this case, Ms. Boutros certainly would be called by the defense to testify as to Detective Moretti's credibility. That is a huge shot across the bow. That's a huge warning shot. You call the lead detective on this case. We're calling the previous prosecutor, one of the previous prosecutors, to come here and testify as an impeachment witness against the lead detective. That is fucking devastating to the case. From the previous Brady responses filed by the state over the last week, it is obvious that Ms. Bradley had her own conversations with Detective Moretti as to soliciting a BSO deputy to lie. Oh my God. Being that Detective Moretti's credibility may be one of the biggest issues at trial, Ms. Bradley has made herself a witness. We've seen a prosecutor potentially making himself a witness in the Zachariah Anderson case when the lead prosecutor went and met with one of the witnesses at a crime scene. So this is again the thing here where you have one of the prosecutors talking to one of the detectives about possibly falsifying evidence. So, further to defendant's motion to suppress evidence, Detective Moretti's credibility is automatically an issue since he signed the affidavits in this case. The affidavit saying that this person witnessed him serve the search warrant when clearly that person was nowhere near the location, the scene when they served the warrant. He was outside the room. Therefore, again, certainly Ms. Boutros, possibly Ms. Bradley, who was the black-haired prosecutor that we saw during most of the trial, would be witnesses. As to the motion to dismiss for government and prosecutorial misconduct, which is another thing we're going to get to, that's another motion that was filed. A motion to dismiss. As to the motion to dismiss for government and prosecutorial misconduct in violation of the defendant's due process rights under the 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution, it has become clear that decisions on providing the defense with this unmistakably Brady material reached the highest realm of the state's attorney's office. Ms. Boutros testified that Mr. Pryor, Ms. Falk, and Mr. Killoran over the approximately last year have been involved in this matter on several occasions. Therefore, at the motion to dismiss stage, at this time, the defense knows that Assistant State Attorney Michelle Boutros, Assistant State Attorney Christine Bradley, Assistant State Attorney Chris Killoran, Assistant State Attorney Regina Falk, Assistant State Attorney Stephen Zakor, Assistant State Attorney Joel Silverstein, and State Attorney Harold Pryor will, not might, not may, not could, not should, will be called as witnesses. Essentially, the defense plans to call every single member of the prosecutor's office as witness. Not every single member, because I assume it's a huge public defender's office, prosecutor's office in Broward County, but a large number of the prosecutors, especially the higher ups in the prosecutor's office, if they call Moretti as a witness, if they call their lead detective as a witness. As referenced above, these are the state attorney witnesses that are known and definite at this time. However, we know this matter also went before appellate attorneys within the state attorney's office. You're going to get some of the appellate lawyers too. We do not know what their input was. We do not know what their role was in the decision not to provide Brady to the defense. So not to provide this evidence that is favorable to the defense. These people may also be added as witnesses. Miss Bradley herself has made herself a fact witness, though probably the most important piece of evidence in this case, that being the credibility, through probably the most important point of evidence in this case, that being the credibility of Detective Moretti. So seriously, the lead detective is the most important witness in this entire trial. He is the one that investigated everything. He's the one that came up with all this. And now you're calling into question his credibility by calling the prosecutors as witnesses. The prosecutors are going to say they said they would never work with him again because of his willingness to falsify evidence against a defendant in a capital murder case. Therefore, Ms. Bradley individually is certainly conflicted in representing the state in this matter. And again, we saw this in the Zachariah Anderson case. If you are a witness, you cannot be a lawyer in that case. I don't think that Judge Schrader handled it properly in the Zachariah Anderson case. I think the prosecutor gravely should have been completely thrown off the case. But here we have the same things. Like, these people are going to be called as material witnesses in this case. Therefore, they cannot act as a party or as a prosecutor in the matter. That's what they're saying. And I think they're correct. But what do I know? I'm just an unfrozen caveman Utah lawyer living in Korea. But I think they're correct. However, given the fact that at a minimum there would be Assistant State Attorney Michelle Boutros as a witness, and there will be conflicting testimony by Assistant State Attorney Christine Bradley, it is untenable for the state to be the prosecutors in this case. For one, the fact that the Assistant State Attorney prosecuting the matter while Ms. Bradley is on the witness stand will be from the same judicial circuit as Ms. Bradley. So yeah, they're saying the people that are going to cross-examine Ms. Bradley are the people in her own office. Ms. Bradley being called by the state as a witness would be tantamount to the state attorney's office vouching for Ms. Bradley's credibility, undermining that assistant state attorney, assistant state attorney Michelle Boutros. Nothing could destroy a witness's credibility more than her own office calling another witness to contradict her. So yeah, they're saying that if we call her as a witness and she says that the lead prosecutor was willing to lie and falsify evidence, then the prosecution is going to have to call a different witness to impeach the credibility of their own prosecutor. They're saying that's just not going to happen. In essence, there are too many witnesses from the 17th Judicial Circuit State Attorney's Office who have testimony germane to the motion to dismiss, suppress, and the trial for the State Attorney's Office to remain as the prosecutors in this case. They want an entirely different prosecutor's office to take over this case. Allowing the state's attorney's office and specifically Christine Bradley to continue as counsel in this cause violates defendants' due process rights guaranteed by both Florida Constitution and the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Wherefore, the defendant requests this honorable court grant this motion and recuse the state's attorney's office of the 17th Judicial Circuit from this case. I hear, and see, this is the important part. This is his new lawyer, Mr. Benjamin, swearing under oath, under possible penalty of perjury, that this is all true to the best of his knowledge. I hereby certify that the foregoing is electronically filed and copy do. So here he is signing it. End of document. Thank you so much, Nicholas Starov, for sending this. You sort of saved my ass there. And MG Law, you tried, apparently. You may have sent it somewhere I didn't see it, but I love you anyway, MG Law, because you're great. So there we go. What do you guys think of that? Isn't that ridiculous? They want to kick the prosecutors off this case because the prosecution witnessed the lead detective. Well, they didn't witness him doing it. They knew that the lead detective asked another officer to lie and say he was present when a search warrant was executed, allegedly with excessive force against the defendant's mother, and then lie about it. Lie and say he was there when he wasn't. And then to fail to turn over this information advantageous to the defense. And it doesn't necessarily prove he's innocent, but it is advantageous to the defendant because they can use that information to impeach the lead detective. The lead detective has asked someone to falsify evidence in a death penalty, capital murder case. And one of the prosecutors said she will not work with the guy because of that. This is a shitstorm of the highest order. Exactly. It's happening with Harper. This is a man's life. They better be on the up and up. And right now, the hearing on this motion, the judge is going to rule on this motion. The hearing on this motion is underway as we speak. So let's get through some of these chats and then we will go catch up on this. MG Law Legal Advice, I mailed it to you, along with the state's response. Well, thank you for mailing it to me. Oh, there we go. There's the mail notification. I'm assuming the state's response is, did not. Thank you, MG Law. I appreciate that. Yes, check email. So I didn't have time to watch the chat while I was ranting. Thank you so much, guys. You guys rock. You're awesome. Thank you so much for the support. Wow. This is huge. It really, really is. All right. Okay. We already got Brandon Lesko threatening to push me into the DMZ, which I would welcome, just into the minefield. Get it over with quick. Alabama Rose, member for 13 months. Jeff, stop jerking around without your pants on. Hey, pants are prison, man. It's all good. Vice Squad will hit the like and subscribe to Awesome Channel because they're cool. Well, let's see if they've listened to you. Currently 419 people. 511 people and 264 people. All right, so still half of you haven't done your job. Get down there, boom, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's get these numbers going as we ramp up to the YNW Melly trial. Jury selection starts Monday. Let's go, Brandon. Don't come, you say. I'm going to come. Well, comes here. Witnesses. Oh, man, I need a drink. Hint, hint. Jason J. with the $5 super chat. Hey, cops and bootlickers. Just a few bad cops, right? Myth busted. This is why cops deserve the hatred, including, and their funerals. That might be going a little too far, I think. But it's the lawless cops. It's the bandidos that we have to worry about.
We are federales.
It's these guys.
We are federales. You know, the mountain police.
If you're the police, where are your badges?
Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
Yeah, it's those guys we have to worry about. Yeah. Brian Miller with a $5 super chat as well. What happens if the detective was investigated and no problems were found? Can they still use the prosecutor as a witness? Well, the prosecutor's already said she will never work with the guy. That's still very, very, very bad. It's just how bad it is. The court is going to decide while we watch. So we've got through those. We've got through those chats. We've got through the super chats here. Let's see. Jason J hates cops like hates lol. Like, okay, like hates. Well, let's go on over here. We'll watch the hearing as it unfolds. This is the hearing on the motion we just read. So let me bring it on up. Embiggen it. And let's see how shitty the court. Let's bring up the raise the what do you call those things? Closed captions and see how this goes.
Okay. Gary told me I needed. All right. No, that's fine. We normally put them there. That's why I told them to ask you. It's fine.
Okay, we're 18 minutes behind. All right. Let's fast forward through all this. We're not doing shit. We're just walking around waiting for Senior Melly to come in. So I guess it looks like Melly ditched the lawyer of color in favor of the new Mr. Benjamin. Everyone else, okay, there we go. Here comes Mr. Melly. He's got that hairdo going again. Looks like he got himself some new glasses. I don't remember the glasses being quite that fly.
Court's back in session.
Oh, he's still smiling inappropriately in court.
Mike, you ready? All right, let's get on the record, please. State Court of Mel Dennis, President of the defendant. Counsel, you want to state your appearances, please?
Daniel Aronson, Stu Adelstein, Raven Liberty, James Benjamin, Peter Fonzo, Mr. Dennis, President Wolf.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can anybody hear anything?
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen Finra, and Nicole Blumen, and Samantha Rosen on behalf of the state. Where's Ms. Bradley? Ms. Bradley's not. She's not joining us today? No. She going to be on the case in the future or not?
Yes.
She is?
Yes.
That's your anticipation?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I'm not going to hold anything to the contrary.
I'm sorry?
I'm nothing to the contrary. Any problem?
Thank you. So this is a couple of motions. I guess there's two of them. The first one has to do with the squashing of subpoenas. You're going to refile.
Okay, I guess we needed. He just mentioned that there's more than one motion to hear. I guess we just kind of need to tell you what has transpired with regard to these cases. The motion to dismiss and the motion to recuse the entire prosecutor's office was filed on December 2nd. The motion to recuse was filed on the 29th of September. And the motion to dismiss was filed on, I guess it was filed on the same day, looks like. And the supplement, the exhibit in support of the motion to dismiss was filed on October 2nd, so 4 days ago. In the last 4 days, there has been a defense motion to return property, a state's motion to quash, which means to vacate or get rid of subpoenas, a court date notice, a filing of the defendant's response, file the defendant's motion to exclude testimony, filing of a defense motion to compel, filing a defense motion to exclude testimony, filing another defense motion to exclude testimony, filing yet another defense motion to exclude testimony, and filing of the state's response to the motion to recuse themselves. So all of these motions have been filed in the past 4 days. There's no way we can keep up with this.
our motion to recuse.
Does his lawyer still have her book evil plans and stuff? I hope so.
Witnesses for today's hearing, the state would not accept it with their rendition of what happened was close enough to what we believe happened, that we have no objection to it. We did not get proper service. We couldn't. You set the hearing on Wednesday. We did everything that we could humanly do to get witnesses here today. We let the state know who those witnesses would be by the fact that the class server just dropped off the envelope even though we couldn't get perfect service. So their motion to quash is probably well taken because we did not get proper service. But all we're trying to do is move this case along. All we're trying to do is have a hearing and have the witness before you. I probably need the help of this court to order the witnesses to show. I don't know what else to do.
Well, Your Honor, I don't know where there's any authority even issues because they're supposed to comply.
Yeah, we'll do that on Monday.
They feel they're not getting
the Chinese submarine incident will be talked about on Monday.
The court to give them an order that they can get further discovery, and then they might be able to move into the realm of issuing subpoena for trial, which is before hearing. And that is, maybe I'm not having enough case, maybe that happened, but I don't believe that there's any motion made and that there is the act of justice requires further discovery to be granted by the court. So it's very scarred again, but I'm not sure where all that the schemers and the wants of investigators coming from. They've been given the basic, they know what the alleged Brady statement is. I think they need to come to this court and ask the court for discovery and let the court know they're not getting and what they want before they can go ahead and issue subpoenas.
Your Honor, first of all, I just want to point out, this was not a subpoena for a discovery deposition. This was a subpoena for them to show up to court today, so you could have a hearing that you set, so that we can have witnesses for this hearing.
Right. So apparently they issued subpoenas and the witnesses didn't show up. That's bad.
Issue separately. We're happy to deal with it right now. But that's a separate issue than having witnesses to testify before this court when this court sets a hearing.
And yes, there's a little more to it. We filed a response to the motion to quash. And I'm sure by now you're obviously familiar with it. And in that document, we cite the specific provisions of 3.220, which have provisions for just this very thing, that the time limits can be altered by the court for good cause. What could be
okay, so in their
good
response, they're saying apparently that we don't have time to get all of our witnesses here, so the state has, the court has the latitude to grant more time.
Is a major transgression by the lead officer in the case that we have 4 different Brady notices that are all different, that this happened in October of 22, and the state attorney's office sat on it through a whole trial and up till a couple weeks ago when we received these Brady notices.
Can I stop you for a second?
Sure.
In your response, this is the motion that defendant Jamel Devon's response to state's motion to quash subpoenas and/or for protective order. Paragraph 4, you indicated here that counsel for the defendant believes that there is probable cause that the witnesses under subpoena, the members of the state attorney's office and the elected state attorney to have committed obstruction of justice and attempted witness tampering and felony pursuant to FS 838.022 for misuse of public office due to their actions since October of 2022.
That's what it says, Ron.
That's right. Very serious allegation.
Very serious allegation.
Jesus. The defense accused the district attorney of felony misuse of their position or whatever. They've just accused the district attorney of committing a felony. Sweet Jesus, this is going to be off the damn hook. And the judge seems to be taking this very seriously. He said, this is some very serious allegations. The state is acknowledging this is very serious allegations. So what is the judge going to do about it?
Very serious, we believe, alleged conduct.
I want to know what the what the good faith basis that you have is for to make that statement.
Filed in the court file.
Okay, so now they're asking you what's your basis for making these allegations?
It's the deposition of Michelle Boutros, which chronologically testified to what happened since October of 22, and who was involved and who had knowledge of what happened after, on the very day this happened, Ms. Boutros went to Mr. Killoran and told him what Detective Moretti did, and went to administration, to Harold Pryor, and told him on that very day what happened. And they sat on him for 11 and a half months, where a whole trial took place.
So again, they're asking the defense, why do you think the state, you've made a very serious accusation that the state committed a felony. Why do you think that? And he said, because they knew about this for 11 months. They sat on this. They didn't tell us this during an entire criminal trial where the defendant was facing the death penalty. They sat on this information and didn't tell us.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees were spent without knowing this absolutely vital impeachment evidence that is clearly Brady for a year. So they had meetings about it, and we're trying to ferret out, because Your Honor says, what's our good faith basis? What a career prosecutor in the public corruption unit of the state attorney's office testified to under oath. And number one, Miramar Police Department was made aware of it. Number two,
the cops are in on it.
Elected state attorney was made aware of it. Number three, all of our minions that are involved in.
Are they saying that the attorney general knew about this? Did the head elected state attorney? As I understand, that's the attorney general they're accusing of knowing about this. So they're saying the cops are in on it. It seems to me they're saying the attorney general is in on this. God damn.
Number three, all of his minions that are involved in are subpoenaing them. We believe we're made aware of it. And if you look at all that and track the statute we cited, the conduct that we believe happened, and we have to ferret it out.
I'm too handsome to be small.
Avoiding and everything because of a 5-day rule is where we're going to be able to prove what our good faith basis is, because we have absolute good faith basis for it. And we'll stand on that based on Michelle Boutros' statement under oath.
Ginger, go back 15 or 20 minutes and start watching from there.
Other than that statement of Boutros in the deposition.
Not yet. That's why we want to take the discovery of these individuals. What else could I have? If they deep six this.
That's all I'm asking you.
No, Judge, that is the starting point of where we need to go.
Oh, I like this guy.
And in order to develop it at this very late date that we just found out about this activity, the only way to do it is to subpoena these witnesses that do not have work product protection. And they shouldn't have a 5-day rule protection. Let's ferret it out. Maybe there's an explanation. I couldn't, in my wildest dreams, think of what it could be. Maybe they should get their own lawyers. Maybe they should take the fifth. But we need to ferret it out. Because what more should we have before Your Honor than a sworn testimony from a career prosecutor in the public corruption unit who testified to certain activities of not only herself, but Mr. Killoran, Ms. Bradley, and everything else. And I do have other evidence. If you look at the four, how many Bradley?
Over 3 that are relevant.
The 4 Brady notices, that they all contradict each other. And one of them was signed by Mr. Killoran, who's not even the lawyer in this case. He's the public corruption prosecutor. And he stepped in and signed a Brady notice in a case where Ms. Bradley didn't. And then she came in and switched her testimony in the next one. What could be more compelling?
I like this guy.
Cases than to show the actual prosecutor on this case, the homicide prosecutor that tried the first case without telling us anything about Moretti is now changing her story 3-4 times. When this happened in October 22. So that's additional good faith basis for us to find out how and why we believe there's probable cause to believe they violated the law. If you look at the statute, the specific paragraphs cover contact just like this, just like they used to try to allege that Mr. Demons did witness tampering. They did the same thing.
Now, he mentioned that YNW Melly's been accused of witness tampering. We're going to get to that, hopefully, when this trial is over. If not, we'll just have to do another stream about it next week. Because, yeah, that was a spoiler right there, dude.
And we're going to prove it by having these people testify. We'd like to take their depots. We filed papers to try to do that in the last couple of days after Your Honor said it, but we haven't yet. So we want to have them testify in court today.
But your motion indicates, or your response indicates, that the elected state attorney committed obstruction of justice, attempted witness tampering, and a felony pursuant to 838.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The state attorney, the elected official, Harold Pryor, we have good faith.
He is accusing the attorney general of committing a felony. This is crazy. This doesn't happen. This is one of the few times you are seeing the law racks. Or as you can see down there, the YNW law racks. This is one of the few times you're seeing me speechless. This is crazy.
Believe that he sat on this.
Well, you have more than that. You're saying you have probable cause.
I think there may be probable cause based on.
I think there may be probable cause.
Okay, there's a misstatement. Okay, now they've kind of weakened their position. The judge is saying, now you have probable cause. You have reason to believe that this happened. And then he equivocated right there. He said, we have reason to believe there might be probable cause. And the judge is jumping his shit for that. Do you believe there might possibly be the hint of a reasonable possibility that there might theoretically be probable cause? Or are you saying there is probable cause to believe that the attorney general committed a felony? The judge is going to hold the defense's feet to the fire here.
Judge, if you quibble over this, you can do that and do what you want.
This is a serious allegation.
This is a serious matter.
That's right.
This is an absolute serious matter that everybody sat on and hid under the carpet for
I
years.
this guy.
I don't know that everybody did, but
You don't know? So why are you asking me why I'm doing it? Because we allege it and we need to ferret it out, Your Honor.
Holy shit, I like this lawyer. Oh my God, I can't wait for this trial to start. This lawyer is good. This is everything we didn't see. We saw like angry guy. I can't remember what his name was. I think it started with an E. Angry guy in the first trial. Not the defense lawyer of color. The other guy, the short white dude. We saw him get a little bit agitated, a little bit angry. This dude is on fire. This dude is on fire. I like this guy. This guy is a firecracker. He's like, you don't know, Judge, then why the hell are you asking us? Let's do this. Let's tango, Judge. I like this guy. This dude is being a passionate representative of his client. I like this guy.
And it is a serious, but because it's serious, you don't think that Mr. Denning sitting over there isn't thinking this is a serious matter where his life is on the line, where the state attorney's office.
Serious charge too. I'm not minimizing.
It's not two. That's why we're here, Your Honor. With all due respect.
All due respect, it's a serious matter, but so is allegations about corruption in the state attorney's office at the highest point. And when I read Ms. Boudreaux's deposition, somebody provided it to me. I assumed it was your office. I don't know if you did or not, who gave it to me, but somebody dropped a statement on. I thought Ms. Boudreaux, who I know for a long time, tried many cases with her, indicated that The state attorney's office told her to be honest, straightforward, tell the truth.
So why wouldn't you believe testimony like that that says that Mr. Pryor knew about it the day it happened and didn't do anything about it? There wasn't any investigation by the very unit that investigates stuff like this, like a public corruption unit. That Killoran sat on it because he knew about it the very day for over a year, watching a first-degree murder case be tried without even investigating further this allegation. You know, there's a lot of things that trained police officers can do and investigate things such as an allegation like this, and they did nothing. And we're going to be able to, once we get them to testify, show that nothing was done. And they deep six this serious allegation in a first-degree murder case, and there's testimony when if they told her to tell the truth. And you know her for a long time. I know her for a long time. We've had battles in court against each other and walked out and shake each other's hand because she's a professional. And she testified that Harold Pryor, the elected state attorney, knew about this the very day it happened. And nothing ever was revealed about it until the last couple of weeks. If this court doesn't think that's important and isn't
I think it's very
possible.
important. I think everything in that deposition is important, but I also thought Ms. Boutros indicated that it wasn't the position of the state attorney's office or the Mr. Pryor or the individual supervisors to go ahead and review what was done by whoever's involved in a case that they anticipate and expect that the prosecutor handling is going to do whatever Brady notices around.
Well, let's find out, Judge. That's why we're here.
Okay, well, there's an important question that's brought up here. King Ginger says, even if this is true, how does this prove Melly is innocent? You don't have, come on, Ginger, you know this. Ginger, King Ginger, this is not your first rodeo. This is not your first trial. You don't have to prove he's innocent. The state has the burden of proving beyond a reasonable doubt that he's guilty. And in this case, we have the lead detective and possibly all the way up to the attorney general's office itself. The lead detective has shown that he is willing to fabricate evidence against a defendant in a capital murder, in a death penalty case. He's shown that he is willing to lie, to take away the life of a defendant. And you have a prosecutor who has said that she will not work with this man ever again on any other case because he has demonstrated his willingness to fabricate evidence against a defendant. That goes right to his credibility. You throw that out, you go, this man is willing to fabricate a piece of evidence. How can you trust any evidence this guy gives in court? It doesn't prove the defendant's innocence because the defendant doesn't have to prove his evidence. It goes to the state's inability to fairly, above board, and in alignment with the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution prove that beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it. This prosecutor can't prove it because the lead detective has said he's going to lie. He will lie to take away the life of a defendant. That's what it's saying. King Ginger says, okay, I know that. That's not what I meant. Just mean, does this mean the case is just completely dropped? Well, that's what they want. That's what they want. They've made the motion to exclude the entire prosecutor's office for this district. They want it to be heard apparently by another district. And they've also filed a motion to dismiss based upon this same incident. This is freaking serious. And that's why I love this. I love this lawyer's passion. And I love the fact that the judge is not dismissing this. I can just imagine if this was like in the Zachariah Anderson case or the Murdoch case, the judge would be like, nah, we'll just let the jury sort it out and it'll be over. The judge is taking this very seriously. But King Ginger 333, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to rant. I love a good Friday Law Racks rant.
I mean, that's what she said, correct?
She said what office policy is.
Correct.
I thought that they were told they couldn't testify about, so they cherry pick and choose which office policy they'll reveal. But she indicated in the same depot, she was told not to talk about office policy, but she did. So we got to ferret this out. Whether or not, if that happens or not, when there is an allegation against the lead detective in a first-degree murder, that he lied in front of a career prosecutor that's brought to the attention of the elected official, they can't hide under, oh, we don't review every Brady violation. This went all the way to the top of their office the day it happened, and they did nothing. I believe.
Jesus, he is. This is what's stunning to me. He's saying the attorney general, at least that's what he's saying, this the state's top elected prosecutor, which in my head, and I don't know how I could possibly be wrong if I am, excuse me, but he's saying that the state's attorney general was informed about this on the day it happened, and they sat on it for 11 months.
And I believe that is violates that statute. And I believe that in and of itself, based on one person's sworn testimony, is probable cause. But, Your Honor, I believe, based on your body language, with your arms crossed and a scowl on your face, looking at us like we did something wrong, should be much more.
This is really serious.
This is so.
I love this guy. I love this guy. He's calling out the judge. He's putting the judge on the spot. I have never seen anything like this in my life. He's going after the judge. Like he just said, I can see by the way your judge is sitting with their crossed arms and the scowl on your face that you think we're doing something wrong. He's challenging, he's calling the judge out to the middle of the Coliseum. He's calling the judge out to be a gladiator in the middle of the Coliseum, in front of crowds, in front of the entire viewing world. And the judge is saying, no, I'm taking this very seriously. This is redonkulous. Do you kids still say redonkulous? If not, you should. We should take back redonkulous. That's a good word. For some reason, we're not getting the super chats collected here anymore. Weirdly enough, Let's see. There we go. Squizgar, what's up? It's been a minute or two. Squizgar with a $5 super chat. The huge issue is that this opens up every case the detective has ever testified in. That is a possibility. That is not an impossibility. If this thing gets chucked, which I honestly don't think it's going to get chucked, I can really see the judge giving a new prosecutor, signing this to a different prosecutor's office. I can see that. I don't think it's going to get entirely thrown out, but yeah. But if it does, if this guy gets screwed, every lawyer that had anything to do with any case that the Detective Moretti has been on, any defendant that was ever investigated by Detective Moretti is going to be throwing up some fucking motions. Hardcore. You are absolutely right. And Adara the Wholesome. I'm sorry for using an F-bomb right before hearing from Adara the Wholesome. They found the alleged killer of Tupac, and P. Diddy. Where'd we go? And P. Diddy was implicated in hiring the guy for a hit. He appeared in court on October 4th, take on a hit from 1996. But the interesting thing was the guy's lawyer didn't show up. The alleged murder of Tupac's lawyer didn't show up because he was on vacation, and the judge is like, well, okay. All right, what else? He's on vacation. Smopo Vienna says, sorry to be off topic, but did you hear about the Chinese submarine accident a few days ago? Maybe something for Maritime Monday. Yes, we will be talking about that on this upcoming Maritime Monday. Was the lying cop the masked cop? No. The masked cop was like Mr. Oh, I know gang sign guy. And I know gang lingo. This was the lead detective, the one that testified basically to everything. He was wearing like a beige suit, and he was kind of milquetoast, and we kind of made fun of him. Yeah, it was him. Wow. This is off the damn hook. All right, folks. Oh, we got one more super chat. Then we're going to hit this big time. We're going to head right back and watch the judge defend himself against the accusation that his body language indicates he thinks the defense is doing something wrong. Wolfram with a $5 super chat. So I need to get my stream deck locked and loaded so we can do some more like power sound effects. Wolfram, this judge is the fake Balak in no. The fake Balak in Star Trek's the Carbamite maneuver. He just has more color now. No. Oh, Wolfram. That was brilliant. That was actually good. Okay, all right. As ridiculous as that comment is. Right. Let's get back into this because this is important. Wow. All right. Anybody have anything to say before we jump back into this? Poof. I need to take it. All right. I had to let me bring this because this is still making me laugh. I can't go. All right. Now I'm assuming you're not meaning like the little dude. I assume you're meaning like the brain guys. All right. Hang on. Bollock, Corbomite. Corbomite. Okay, this is just funny enough that I have to take a bit of a break here. I'm just gonna I don't know if this is what you were exactly referring to, but I assume you're not talking about the little person. I assume you're talking about the big dudes. Oh my gosh, this is interesting. Let's see. Boop. Bring me on up. I seem to have lost all of my live chat. Oh, there we go. Star Trek lore. That's right. Oh, there you go. Trek lore. Wolfram is saying that the judge may look like this guy. At least I assume. I assume this is the guy you're talking about, right? Not this guy. This was the guy. This was the Wizard of Oz. This was the guy behind the curtains. These were the guys in front of the curtain. I assume you're talking about this guy. But all right, that's enough. That's enough of the Star Trek Corbomite maneuver. Let's get rid of that. All right. Done. Yes, he does. Yes or no, chat? Yes. Okay, you were talking about the brain dudes. All right. So with that out of the way, let's get back to this and find out how the judge responds to this accusation that based on the way he's crossing his arms and scowling, he thinks the defense has done something wrong. I'm going to backtrack here just a little bit to hear. I love this lawyer. This lawyer is the shit. I love this guy. All right, let's bring it on down, make a little love.
That violates that statute. And I believe that in and of itself, based on one person's sworn testimony, is probable. But, Your Honor, I believe based on your body language, with your arms crossed and a scowl on your face, looking at us like we did something wrong, should be much more.
This is really serious.
This is so serious. Why do you think we're all here? Why do you think this has blown up like this? Not because we did something for a year. It's because the state attorney's office and Mr. Pryor, who directs the office, who was elected by the people of Broward County to do justice, not to win cases at all costs. We believe knew about it and participated in a conspiracy to hide it. And that's what we believe, and that's what we pled, and we.
Okay, I need to take a pause. I need to take a time out here. He's mentioned Mr. Pryor. And Ozzy Overlord, who is lurking, has mentioned it's not the state attorney general he's referring to. It's the Broward state attorney, Harold F. Pryor. So apparently Broward County, he didn't mean like the entire state of Florida's highest elected lawyer. He meant Broward County's highest elected lawyer. So basically the district attorney for Broward County. That's good that he's not accusing the attorney general of committing a felony. That would be really bad. So yeah, he's talking about the state attorney for Broward County, Harold F. Pryor. All right. Thank you for that clarification, Ozzy, and thank you for clarifying that, defense counsel guy. He's the first black state attorney in Broward and the first black man to be elected state attorney in Florida. He's a fifth-generation Floridian, married to an attorney, and they have 2 young children. Become attorneys. University of Florida. All right, whatevs. Right, there we go. Let's get back at it.
Stand behind our pleas.
Thank you. Where's Miss Brad? I don't understand why she's not here.
I believe she had a deposition folks. This morning, she has a deposition this morning.
And you don't have it scheduled.
They have things planned. It's not like you don't
I'm sure.
have other matters that we have to handle.
This is an issue where the way I understand the theory of defendant's theory is that Ms. Bradley is going to become a witness in the case. That they believe that depending on what is said by Detective Moretti, that if there's evidence that based on a flip-flop in the
yeah, the lead prosecutor for the first trial is not here. And the judge is like, where is she? Because she's supposed to be a witness depending on what Detective Moretti says during the retrial. The judge wants to know where she is.
Brady notices if they come back and they want to use Ms. Bradley to impeach her, to impeach Mr. Detective Moretti during the trial, that they have good faith basis to call her as a witness in the case. So how am I supposed to let an assistant state attorney stay on the case if she's a possible witness?
Well, you know, this is all moved way past the way normal Brady issues would be handled, right? So if some Brady, possible, many Brady issues come to the light, what happened? Well, if you don't know what it is, you just think that the defense just thinks that there's something out there that they don't know what it is, it falls back that the state has its obligation to notify Brady if they feel it, and if they don't, and eventually it comes out that it really truly was Brady, and then you get out a new trial, or you order by the appellate court. This is in general. If, however, they've gotten more specific indications of what the Brady material could be, they can come to the court, give the material to the court to look it over in camera, make a decision as to whether there needs to be any further investigation.
Typically, what I do when I have a Brady, there's some issue about it, the prosecutor who's involved in it tells me she comes in here, she's got an obligation of candor to the court, and I ask her a question, and she advises me as to what's going on and why there's a change, why something like that.
The judge is pissed. The judge is pissed that Ms. Bradley is not here. This is the wild, honest to God, this is the wildest pretrial hearing I have ever seen in my life. Exactly, Ozzy Overlord. He is pissed. That's what I was just saying. He's like, yeah, the person who is the subject of this fucking motion should be here in trial to tell her exactly what's going on, to tell us exactly what's going on, and to advise me, where is she? I have no idea how the judge is going to rule on this. This is exciting. I'm like hard racks over
but
here.
She's not here. This is her case. We spent 2 or 3 months trying the case originally. It came to a hung jury, but she's not here for this. I don't understand that.
Ooh.
Forgive me, I don't understand it. It's her case. She's supposed to be here. These allegations are very serious, and they include allegations of her, and I don't see her in the courtroom.
Well, I can explain it. The court wants her here as the lead counsel and on the case.
I would think she'd want to be here.
Pardon?
I would think she'd want to be here.
Oh God, yeah.
Well, having been issued subpoenas, I think there's more of a it makes a difference.
Oh, he is just wishy-washy AF. He's like, well, subpoenas and stuff and things and the judge wants her ass here. And Joe DiMartino, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Yeah, we got this worked out. The local prosecutor is the elected state's attorney. Yeah, well, see, where it confused me was he said it was the highest level elected. So I thought they was talking about the state's attorney general. He meant the highest elected position in Broward County. So yeah, the local prosecutor is the elected state's attorney. Nobody's implicating the state attorney general. Absolutely correct. Thank you so much for that clarification. We had that worked out great. Thank you so much. Woof. And while we're on this pause here, I'll have you know that where this fine gentleman is, it is damn near 1:45 a.m. But Ozzy Overlord, who is here for a lot of the YNW Melly trial, just can't possibly let this go. This is wild. What do you think?
Holy shit! On a cracker. This was actually worth me like skipping sleep. So I'll be here for a few minutes at least, just so I can see exactly what the hell is how the judge is going to handle this, because he is pissed as all hell, and he's got every right to be, especially given that she's not there. You don't see this. This is incredible. Hang on, I'm just going to crack a Coke so I can actually stay awake.
Yeah, no, I have never seen anything like this ever in my life as far as pre-trial goes.
It was bad enough when he was alleging that the entire prosecutor's department would need to be recused. But,
well, I mean, you can write that off just as hyperbole and just them grandstanding and doing shit. But when he starts accusing like the district attorney essentially of committing a felony and yelling at the judge, calling the judge out, and the judge responding that he's taking this very seriously, this is crazy.
It's insanity. And I'm trying to wrap my head around this. Why would you sit on it for 11 months?
Because you hope they never find out, because you're a fuckwit. That's why.
Yeah, but every day that you don't hand over that information, it's just compounding how bad it is.
Welcome to prosecutors in the United States. Fuckers. This is crazy. I mean, this is, I mean, honest to God. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm just being hyperbolic myself, but I've never seen anything like this in my life. I mean, the way this guy is talking to the judge, and the judge is sort of kind of on the defensive, and then he takes it out on the prosecutor. Damn.
Yeah, he's like I said, he's pissed off, and he has every right to be. King Ginger actually is asking specifically what he lied about. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he tried to induce another officer, the detective tried to induce another officer to witness or swear to that he had served something. Yes.
What happened was he was executing a search warrant against YNW Melly, the defendant's mother, to take her cell phone from her. And he was the only person in the room at the time. And he told another officer, another police detective, to, if he's asked, to say that he was in the room when the search warrant was executed.
Which, if it doesn't make sense, that's a massive no-no. Just
there is no dispute that the detective, the police officer that was asked to say he was in the room, there's no dispute that he was not in the room. There's so little dispute that even the prosecutor, one of the prosecutors, she said, "I will never work on another case with Moretti again because he has said that he will lie to manufacture evidence." You have
just to clarify, this is a different prosecutor than the one that is not currently in the courtroom that should be, is it?
Yes, it was during the main trial. There was two women.
Yes,
the black-haired one, that's Bradley, and then the other one is the one that they're talking about that said she would never work with her again. So this is. Yeah, so Moretti basically asked another officer to lie under oath and say he was present when the search warrant was executed, when he was not. the detective, the lead detective on the case, propositioned another officer to falsify evidence. That's what he lied about on the affidavit, saying that so-and-so, this officer was present when we executed the search warrant, and this is what he saw. He wasn't there. Yikes. And Nicholas Starov, thank you so much for the 50 sexy Swedish dollar thingies. This is a clusterfuck of epic proportions. I don't know why I sounded like a Russian when I said, probably because I hang around more Russians than Swedes. Anyway, yeah, this is a clusterfuck of epic proportions. Yeah, and let's see how the judge works. Now that we've got Ozzy here, I can turn off my camera and I can walk down the hall and take some me time while he stands bewildered for the trial. Yeah, let's do that. I'll be right back. Let's do this. I'm going to put you run the stream here. Well, so you run this stream, and I'll go run my stream, and I'll be back in about a minute.
All right.
Grift yourself, talk, do whatever you want. Just don't get me deplatformed in the next minute.
I think it'd take me longer than a minute. Go, do what you need to. Oh shit, you didn't need to do that. Hi folks, how are you? In case anybody missed it, prior to this, I got done doing my after party. Which Jeff generally will join me, as well as a few of the other guys. We watched Legends Football. Tonight we watched midget boxing. Watched a midget in a monkey suit get drop-kicked by a Mexican wrestler. That was interesting. But yeah, same time next week for that, so if you're interested. But this is some absolutely crazy crap that's going on. Like, this is... yes, the titty windows. Anyway, I specifically told Jeff that I wouldn't get him yeeted, so I'm trying to be nice because this is a big moment. So tell me a hat to buy. Vodka Blood, there are any number of hats from the hat store. I will show you, okay? For example, my actual cowboy hat did arrive from Miller Hats. There are plenty. They have some brilliant stock. They have some brilliant designs and that sort of thing. Absolutely go ahead and have a look through the shop. They do some brilliant work, and yeah, you can't really go wrong.
Yeah. pimpinmillerhats.com. I see. Let me I brought up the focal box. Mr. Big Head. Give it a couple seconds to disappear here. There we go. The hat that Ozzy Overlord is wearing and my hat are exactly the same hat, just different colors, and I have a different hat band.
Yep. Which is great, because the hat bands themselves are actually interchangeable and removable. I didn't really bother getting any spare ones, because I quite like the one with the steer on it. So, but it's just ironic, because the first hat that I picked up when I walked in there was imported from Australia. Which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, let's get back stuck into this, because this is insane.
Oh, this is crazy. All right, let's do this shiz.
Versus her just meeting her in order to the lead prosecutor. How is it? How does it make it there? She's the one who signed three different Brady notices, and they're different. How is that she doesn't think she should be here for this hearing?
Oh my God.
When they're asking to recuse her, as well as your office, from the trying the case, and she's not here. Forgive me, I don't understand it. Why don't you find out where she's at?
Dude, get on the phone.
Make a phone call. We'll take a recess. Make a phone call, find out where she's at. I don't understand
it. Holy Christ!
Yep. She is going to get raped over the coals. Something shocking as soon as she sets foot in that courtroom. Hang on, I need my special hat for this one. My good hat.
Right. As Tug would say, crazy times. Crazy times indeed. That was the shittiest Tug impression that's ever been done. But wow. All right. We get to fast forward through this this weird relationship between Raven Liberty and YNW Melly here. I like these new defense lawyers. They're good.
Yeah. Whatever he's paying is not enough.
There she is. Apparently she wasn't too fucking far away.
Well, I mean, how far's the prosecutor's office from the courthouse? She would have ran. No, when you get one of those calls, when a judge is pissed off with you, if you get called into court, you drop everything and you run. Not that I've ever personally had that happen, but fuck.
Oh my lord. Oh, we've got a witness, it looks like, coming up later. Oh, Jesus.
Uh-oh.
Wow. Torin 3, I'm an agent of the state constable at a very low level. It is absolutely critical that there are punishments for not being ethical because the state can't be allowed to cheat or there is tyranny. Exactly. If I hate the phrase someone gets off on a technicality. Oh, the lawyers got the guy off on a technicality. No, they didn't. The prosecutor fucked up because he didn't follow the fucking rules. That's what that means. There's no such thing as a technicality. It means that the prosecution didn't follow the rules when they tried to take someone's liberty and or life away. Lorax rage coming through. All right, so yeah, they found her. She showed up, and I'm assuming the judge is going to have some seriously pointed questions for her. Holy shizzy.
What's the German word where you take pleasure in the misfortune of others? Because I feel like some of that's going to come on. Because this is going to be epic. Are these like Schadenfreude or something? I don't know.
Schadenfreude. I don't know. Nicholas is close to being a German. I don't know. What is it, Nicholas? Sorry, Nicholas. Intellectual Iconoclasm says, I can't wait for the three-way liars paradox game. Oh, yeah. The three-way liars paradox. Cool. Thank you so much for that super chat. Whiskey 77. What a hell of a good name. I love you, Whiskey 77. Member for 3 months. Well, maybe they should have called Brooks for legal advice. Lol.
Might have actually been slightly better.
Okay. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Nicholas Darov's Trial Watch. This is a clusterfuck of epic proportions, which we already got to, but thank you so much again for the 50 sexy Swedish dollars. Torin 3 again. We just read your deal, so we'll just flash it up there again because, hey, I did that on accident, but thank you so much. Torin 3, go check him out. Great channel. Right, here we go, folks. The lawyer, the lead prosecutor, Ms. Bradley, has somehow managed to finally get her ass in court. This is the judge going. That looked like.
Yep. Now that look, admittedly, that look I've been on the receiving end of, but it wasn't my fault.
4 doors, more corgi. 4 dorgy, more corgi. How have you been a member for 7 months and I haven't noticed? 4 dorgy, more corgi. Member for 7 months came in late, but it seems like a perfect time. Oh my God, you've got to go back and watch the last 2 hours of this stream. This is nuts. This is nuts. That is an unhappy judge.
Whoa! I would have thought you'd been here, but regardless, I didn't want to go any further without you being here because all this stuff is about your credibility, your integrity, and everything else. So I thought you needed to be here.
Oh my God.
All right. So let's go forward with this hearing. You call witnesses.
We're going to call witnesses.
Call your first witness.
I was hoping, first of all, I don't know if all my witnesses are here because I tried to subpoena witnesses. The state wouldn't accept it, so I don't know who's here as witnesses. I know right now that Ms. Boutros is sitting in the courtroom. I don't know if she's well enough or feels well enough to testify. I'm certainly hoping that she does for my purpose, but more for her purpose, that I hope she's really good. And if she is available, I'd like to call her as a witness.
Ms. Boutros?
I'm
Is that
okay.
why you're here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Come on up. You okay?
I am. I'm okay. Thank you.
She's here. Defense, right, there's a pending motion to quash. Defense basically said they agree with the motion, that's the way I understood it, that they served incorrectly. So the motion to quash is granted. Ms. Boutros is here, and my understanding she's willing to testify. So they want to put her on and call her as a witness. They can.
Oh my God!
Why would you argue?
Acknowledge we could not get proper service because of the timing.
if I misstated that, that's what I understood you said, that you agreed in principle that the procedure wasn't followed because there wasn't enough time.
Correct.
But you agreed with them that the idea was that the motion technically should be granted. That's the way I understood it.
We're on the same page. Exactly.
They're literally like, they're saying we called Boutros, prosecutor Boutros, as a witness, but the prosecution wouldn't agree to it. But she's here and ready to testify, and the judge is saying let her testify, and the prosecution is literally arguing they don't want the prosecutor witness to testify. This looks
so bad for them. Yeah,
it does. Holy shit!
In no universe. I mean, if they want to have any shred of credibility left going into this trial, they should not be trying to prevent her from testifying. Yes, whatever comes out of it, it's going to be like a hot poker up the ass. But this just makes it look so much worse for them to fight tooth and nail to keep her off the stand, given that she's there and she's willing. The judge can just order her into the dock anyway.
Like, she's literally standing right there on the right side of the screen. And they're arguing she shouldn't sit down and testify. Oh, my Lord. Wow. Tank Rat has gifted 12 Legal Vices memberships. 20. Sorry, fuck. 20. I thought I said 12. Tank Rat has gifted 20 Legal Vices memberships. If you're one of the lucky 20 that received a Legal Vices membership from Tank Rat, give him a special shout out. Thank you so much, Tank Rat. You are the boss. This is nuts. All right, let's hear him, because clearly she takes the stand. So let's see how the judge just rogers them up the backside with all the subtlety of a rhinoceros.
But
if anyone's got a hot poker, now would be the time.
We need the court's assistance to get on the witnesses if we're going to complete this hearing.
Thank you. So you want to swear in the witness, please?
We like to vote for the witness because Christine Bradley is one of the witnesses. So we got a problem. And
call her first.
I'd rather not, Your Honor.
We can't call her first because we have to establish certain things in the record before we call her.
That's fair. They got to lay foundation for certain things, Your Honor. Come on.
Right. They got to call other witnesses before they call her.
The opportunity to hear the other witnesses as we feel a credibility is.
It's inappropriate for her to cross anyway.
We're not doing
The rules provide for what?
Another witness in proceeding should not be present when another witness testifies.
Boutros,
They want to kick her out. They want to kick her out.
They're telling Miss Boutros here, like, who's going to be on the stand, they're saying that Miss Bradley should fuck right off during the testimony, or is it vice versa? What did they call on the stand? Is Bradley on the stand?
Bradley's on the stand. Boutros is standing there. Boutros needs to leave the courtroom.
This
is hilarious.
Oh. Yeah, they're saying you can't be here while she testifies, because then you'll hear her testimony and you can change and shape your testimony to support hers. So they're telling this lady here on the left to fuck right off and get out of the courtroom while the other witness testifies.
And it's perfectly reasonable for them to be saying, because the judge specifically said to them, we'll call her first. They've got questions they specifically need to ask Bradley because she's the one that was there and willing to testify, and that will establish for inconsistent statements for when Boutros gets up there. They're perfectly within their rights to tell her to leave the courtroom at this point.
Wow, and we have Wheeler 925 who says an hour behind, but seems like if any of this can be substantiated, the whole case should be dismissed with prejudice. Wheeler 925, strap in, because you're in for a fucking wild next hour. Wow.
Oh, this is insane.
I need to put this here in chat. Sweet Jesus, hang on. The next hour is wild. All right. Got that chat away. All right, let's go for it.
And then you call Miss Bradley first. You call her first.
Because we don't want to call her first because we have to establish.
I don't want to excuse Miss Bradley. She's here. Her integrity in question. She's the one that's on.
And you're giving the state by unfair.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
You're giving the state an unfair advantage to have the subject matter of this proceeding here testify first before we establish all of the other evidence from the other witness. And certain evidence from those witnesses will be absolute subject matter for the testimony of Ms. Bradley, because she's the one that is the subject matter. So if we do it in that order, then we're not going to be able to have all of the evidence that we believe shows why this prosecutor, Ms. Bradley, should be recused. So if we let her go first, then we can't adequately cross-examine her or represent Mr. Demings with adequacy because we don't have all of those things necessary. So just in the very issue of order, prejudice is the defendant, and it gives the state an undue advantage. And, I don't want to go belabor the motion to quash, but we have evidence that Ms. Bradley told us she's not coordinating depositions and we have to subpoena the witnesses for a hearing on Friday. And this was offered when she knew already that Your Honor had set a motion for Friday, and it was less than 5 days, and then the same office comes in and says, oh, it's less than 5 days, you can't have everybody out. This is not the way to carry out justice. And having her testify first isn't fine.
As far as the email he's talking about, that was a deposition, it was not the control. And they were going to just, no, we're not going to coordinate them, but we'll second that. They'll accept normal service. Bring them over in normal service, then it's within the contract. We're thinking, no one was ever saying we're not going to accept any of your subpoenas. And those quantities are deposition.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about counsel suggesting that Ms. Bradley should be waiting outside.
I don't think Ms. Bradley should testify. Ms. Bradley's not under subpoena. She should not be, no one should be allowed to go into work product or opinion evidence or her thinking on a case. I mean, I see absolutely no reason for her to be taking the stand at this point today.
We will not have, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
This is a discrete issue. It's not talking about her mental impressions or how she's going to try the case or anything like that. They're not going to work right. They're not going to ask questions regarding that. If you do, I'm sure you're going to object, and I'll sustain those objections. This is a discrete issue. It has to do with the notices that were sent.
But at this point, I think if we're putting
look how much the prosecutors just sucked the oxygen out of the hearing.
And skipping over everything else. The only thing on the docket for today was the disqualification of the state attorney's office and whether they had shown actual prejudice. And that motion should be, as I argued in the response to that, obviously denied. That's what was on the docket for today. We haven't made it to Brady yet. We haven't made it whether or not what Ms. Bradley may have done or not done or disclosed or not disclosed. That's all pivoting off the Brady issue. And we're not ignoring that's not on the docket for today. And look, in those four
this is my concern. I don't disagree that prejudice has to be shown. I don't disagree. And my understanding is, though, that in this case, the fundamental issue that is presented is whether or not Detective Moretti's credibility is questioned, and whether he says X, Y, or Z is the state, is the assistant state attorney going to be called as a witness to impeach something that Detective Moretti says. And if that's the case, and she's called as a witness, then it'd be in a very precarious position where she would be arguing credibility to a jury at the end of the case, and there would be actual evidence.
I don't even think we're to the point where the defense would know whether they're calling
Yes,
her or not.
that is standard procedure.
In witnesses, they called, they know, maybe I'm wrong. Now, so I thought you filed a notice.
Not only notice, we filed, we handed.
Hey, we're $20 away from unlocking the Doggo Cam achievement.
That administration instructed them not to accept any subpoenas from us. And that was 3 days ago.
They did not. The attorney is Stephen. The attorney and Chris. And
Bradley should have been in there.
I don't think we had it. I don't think whatever.
It's irrelevant because it's not a valid subpoena because we didn't have 5 days. We're going to go around in circles. The bottom line, Your Honor, is you have to set a hearing for today. We want to go forward on this hearing.
No, the judge is taking this very seriously.
Not to go forward on any hearings. Ms. Bradley is here. Ms. Boutros is here. The other state attorneys are in the office. We can have this hearing if the court will just basically say, I set the hearing for today. I want these witnesses here. Let's move on.
We'd like to call Mr. Keller in first. So, I mean, just like they found Ms. Bradley in a couple of minutes, let's let him come down and we'll ask him questions and then see what we are.
I didn't send her. He didn't. And we filed a motion to buy and Ryder and on Paul.
I didn't, regardless, Ms. Bradley's here. I want to hear from her. She's the lead attorney in this case. She needs to be, all right?
Wow.
So, Ms. Bradley, what we're going to do is I want you to step outside. You just wait outside. They're invoking the rules of the procedure. I'm going to give them a little leeway. I'm going to hear what they have to say with the other witness or read the deposition of Ms. Boutros. I'm sure that you have a copy of the law, Ms. Bradley.
So they're going to put Boutros on the stand, take her testimony first. Then they're going to call the lead attorney, which is standing here, Ms. Bradley. Wow. This is wild. And it looks like we've got some glitchy doggo cam here. Hope it'll settle down. But let's, before we get into this, Stephen Walk says the suspense is terrible. I hope it lasts. Honestly, I've never seen a pretrial hearing like this ever in my entire life. It's crazy. Nicholas Starr of Trial Watch says, we object, Your Honor. This is devastating to our case. It is. Thank you so much for the sexy $5.50 like Swedish dollar things. Thanks. Hampland, Texas. Hampland TX. Dropping the oh, wait. It seems like I need to like reinstall everything on my Stream Deck. The Release the Hounds sound thing is not working. But Release the Hounds. All right. We will do so. After we read Xanothium 15 with a $2 super chat. I'm late, Enriqueta. What did I miss? Jesus, just go back 2 hours and 8 minutes and figure it out. It's insane. It would take me like 3 hours to summarize the last 2 hours and 8 minutes. Wolfram, Doggo. Thank you so much, Wolfram. And Dory K with the $2. So doggos don't miss the drama. Doggo's sleeping, I think. But there we go. We've released the doggo cam. We just don't have the release the hounds audio to go with it. But oh, holy shit, we can't do that with bye, Ozzy. Nice to have you here. There we go. All right, for those of you watching at home, this is doggo cam. That is that's the intimate cam. That's like the okay, there we go. That's Strawberry, one of my two English bulldogs. At $100 super chats, we unlock the dog achievement. So there we go. Strawberry is now a viewing member of our stream. And let's get on with the witness testimony, shall we? Holy shit, I expected this to be over a long time ago. Holy cow. All right, folks, we're going right back into this trial. All right, Strawberry, make yourself comfortable. Give us your opinions as we go along, or just take a nap, whatever you do. Ooh, here we go. Yoda's asleep on the living room sofa. Yoda's already checked out.
Ms. Boutros, before we get started, I wasn't aware that you were ill, and I apologize. Have a seat.
Yeah, it's weird she was allegedly ill, but managed to come here when the judge said, get your ass in here.
Wrong one. She was sitting in the back of the courtroom.
Yeah.
I do. Michelle Boutros, Boutros.
Boutros Ghali, former
Yes,
head of the United Nations.
the Broward County State Attorney's Office in the Public Corrections Unit.
Okay, and what is the public corruption unit?
We investigate public officials who are engaged in criminal conduct. We investigate
It's
law
IA.
enforcement that are engaged in criminal conduct, which would be a public official.
And how about if somebody in your office is engaged in unlawful or suspected unlawful conduct? Do you investigate that, or is that sent to an outside agency?
That would be a decision that administration would need to make. We wouldn't be part of that decision.
Mind you, this is the defense counsel questioning one of the prosecutors.
I would assume so, but I can't say for sure. You'd have to ask them.
Okay. How long have you been a state attorney?
20 years.
And what units have you been in?
I started off, as everyone did, in misdemeanor, and then I moved on to felony trial unit, and then I spent 8 years in the gun unit, and then I spent another 7 years in the gang unit, and then I was in case filing for about 6 months, and then I was moved to the public corrections unit.
Okay, were you familiar with a prosecutor's Brady obligation?
Yes, I am.
Can you please explain what you believe in?
They asked her to explain a Brady
In my career, in my practice, I disclose
violation.
anything that I feel that would cause a credibility issue for a witness, any witness. Credibility, exculpatory, anything that would benefit the defendant at trial, whether it's admissible or not, is a decision that the judges make, not me. We call it Brady, we call it a supplemental discovery. You can put it on a paper napkin, but my goal has always been to be transparent and to provide the defense with any information that they deem that they might need at trial.
Now,
No, this appears to be a very moral, very ethical
you were
prosecutor,
asked
a
to take
unicorn.
over a case involved in a tampering with the witness case?
Correct.
Okay. And who did that surround?
It surrounded Jamal Demons and his mother, and the allegation was that
Demons.
they were tampering with 2 witnesses by the name of Holmes and
King?
I can't remember the other name, but the mother and the ex-girlfriend and the murder of the ex-girlfriend of Mr. Demons.
And this was being investigated as a separate case, part of this murder case that you're here today testifying to? How was this determined?
Well, it began as a separate case that I was to investigate Miss King, who was Mr. Demon's mother, to kind of discover whether she was tampering with these 2 witnesses. The actual statement included things about this case and included questions by Detective Moretti about this case.
When you say this case, but
This,
the murder.
the homicide.
Okay, and the investigative subpoena that was sent out, there are no case numbers on that, it's just an investigative subpoena.
We have internal investigative numbers in our office. They
The
are not
legendary
case numbers,
internal
they're just
affairs.
Investigation numbers.
Okay, so somebody who was sitting there, Ms. King, would not know what case this was about, just know that they were sitting there to give an investigative.
Stay.
I think you can get them on Etsy. We searched back during the trial. I think we found them on
I'm
Etsy.
never asked to really do anything. I'm handed a scenario and I'm asked to investigate it. And then I make a determination as to the steps that I'm going to take to do the investigation.
And what steps did you determine?
I decided that the first thing that I was going to do was to see if Ms. King was represented by counsel, and she was, and I contacted Mr. Trackman, and I originally asked him if she would come in without a subpoena. I believe he required a subpoena, and at that point, the goal was to get these 2 witnesses, and we wanted the information. So I granted her immunity by giving her a subpoena and explained that to her at the beginning of the statement. So Mr. Trackman was aware of what the investigation was about prior to this statement on the 12th of October.
How did you get assigned to this case?
Mr. Killoran assigns the cases. So he, in this situation, was contacted by Ms. Bradley, who asked him if our unit would investigate it. And this isn't normally something that we would investigate. For whatever reason, you'd have to ask him. It was accepted into our unit and assigned to me.
Okay. And the reason why your unit doesn't normally investigate this is this didn't deal with the public official.
No, correct.
So this was out of the norm.
Correct, but we do things out of, we're not exclusive to public officials. If there's special projects that need to be done, we will handle them. So it wasn't alarming that it was in our unit.
It was out of the norm. There are other times that you do things out of the norm.
Correct, and when I say out of the norm, I don't mean that there was anything negative about that. I just mean that there are instances.
The public is winning, Brandon. Let's go.
And they aren't public officials. So it's really just on a case-by-case basis, and Mr. Killer makes those decisions with Ms. Falk and Mr. Pryor, and I just get handed the file here, go ahead and investigate this case.
Okay, so you subpoenaed Ms. King for a investigative statement.
Correct.
And she and Mr. Trapman showed up.
Correct.
Wait.
On the 7th floor of the state attorney's office.
Okay, and is it in a special room of any sort?
There's a hallway in, when you get off the elevators on the 7th floor, and there's bathrooms there, and right before you make the right to go towards the bathrooms, there's a very small conference room.
Can you estimate the size of this room?
I'm not very good at estimating, but I would say it's like a 6x6 room, but it's a small room.
So, what happened in that room? Let's start off.
So the first thing that happened is Detective Moretti and I were sitting on one side of the table. Ms. King and Mr. Trapman were sitting on the other side of the table. When we initially began the statement.
Have you ever met Detective Moretti before?
I have not met him. Oh, excuse me. I met him the day before because we had a meeting about this case, but I hadn't worked cases with him in the past.
You had no ill will or goodwill or what?
I had really no information at all other, than he was the detective that was investigating this tampering case, and no ill will, no history.
And I might look at you now. How about you with Ms. Bradley? Any problems with Ms. Bradley during the course of the 20 years you worked there?
No history with Ms. Bradley either. We've always been very cordial towards each other.
So let's go back. Now,
okay.
You're there in this small room. What happened?
So initially, Sergeant from Broward Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Hendricks, who I do know, was standing in the room. I didn't really think very much about it. I had approved the search warrant the day before. I didn't speak with Detective Moretti about when he was going to serve the search warrant. He was there. I didn't really think about it, and we started the statement, and then at that point, Sergeant Hendricks left the room.
Okay.
Once he left the room, the questioning.
Sustain. Ask a question.
After he left the room, what happened?
After he left the room, the statement continued. Detective Moretti asked most of the questions during the statement.
And as you said, they were not all just focusing on tampering. A lot had to do with the murder case.
I remember at one point that we were talking, and and Ms. King asked Mr. Detective Moretti why he was asking questions about her son's case. And he said something like, well, they're related in some way. And I tried to explain to her that some of the questions that there's, they were intertwined just because of the nature of the charge. It wasn't that she was tampering on a separate case. The allegation was that she was tampering with witnesses on Mr. Demon's case.
Damn it.
So during the questioning, at a certain point in a lull, Detective Moretti made a decision that I was unaware of at the time to serve the search warrant.
That wasn't in your thought process at all that was happening during the time?
It wasn't, but I didn't tell him not to. We just didn't discuss it. It wasn't something that.
In other words, she didn't think he would be stupid enough to
serve it that night, the next day.
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
I really.
He didn't think he'd be stupid enough to serve the search warrant right then, so they didn't talk about it.
During the service of the search warrant, it was Mr. Trapman, Ms. King, Detective Moretti, and myself.
Okay. Anybody from BSO?
No.
You said you described the room as being 6 by 6. If there was a BSO deputy in that room, could anybody miss that person?
So they're asking, are you sure you didn't see any of the anyone else in the room, in the 6 foot by 6 foot room, 2 meter by 2 meter room? Are you sure you didn't miss the guy that said he was there when he wasn't? This is crazy.
Overall, you can answer.
Yeah, the room is so small that you could practically touch the person standing at the door.
So anyhow, what happens when he starts the search warrant?
Miss King reached into her purse, and she
Miss King
was
is YNW Melly's mother.
Didn't you know what she was doing?
Yeah, the search warrant was for YNW Melly's mother, Ms. King's phone. And so she's reaching into her purse, fumbling with her phone. The phone is the subject of the search warrant.
Oh, it's a phone. So she has this phone. I couldn't tell you what type of phone she had. She was pressing buttons on it. And Detective Moretti was saying over and over again, don't turn off that phone. Don't turn off that phone. I knew she was doing something on her phone. I just couldn't swear to exactly what it was that she was doing on the phone. It looked like she was turning off her phone or sending a message or doing something on it. I just couldn't tell. There was a scuffle going on.
Okay, and what did Detective Moretti do?
Detective Moretti physically took the phone.
That's
from
funny.
her.
Okay, now, there was no BSO deputy in the room, correct?
Correct.
And this was BSO jurisdiction, the courthouse, correct?
Now, this is part of the motion to dismiss that we're not going to get to today. Was that the detective used excessive
I would
force
always recommend that if you're not in
taking
your
her phone from
jurisdiction, that there's case law that suggests that you should have somebody from the jurisdiction that you're serving a search warrant or an arrest warrant in. I haven't done that research for a long time. I just knew that it was probably not what he should have been doing without a BSO deputy there.
Okay. Do you know if his actions, and I ask if you know, if his actions were lawful in taking that phone since he did not have the jurisdiction in this courthouse?
I can't reach that conclusion. I mean, I'm not a legal scholar.
Yeah, that calls for a legal conclusion.
I would assume that if she had standing, if there were a case, that she would have grounds to file in good faith a motion to suppress. What a judge decided is up to the judge, not up to the state. So I would, if I had known about it, I would have said to him, you need to wait for BSO to get here. And it's always better to err on the side of caution than it is to create a situation.
So anyhow, he serves the search warrant, she's fumbling with buttons on the phone, you're not sure exactly what she's pushing, what happened?
So I'm mimicking Detective Moretti and I'm trying to calm everybody down. So I was like, you really need to give over your phone. It looks like you're trying to turn off
so
your
you're
phone.
complicit in
You need
this.
to, it's a search warrant and Mr. Trackman was very upset. And he did tell her she needed to give up the phone, and eventually Detective Moretti got the phone from her.
How did he get the phone?
He got the phone from her physically. He physically took it out of her hand.
During that, her giving the phone or having it taken from her, did you hear any exclamation from her that indicated that she had been hurt?
It was a yelp. It was like a yelp. It was like I can't really describe it.
Is it a yelp or a yawp?
But there was physical contact between Detective Moretti and Miss King. And during that physical contact of him taking the phone, Miss King, she yelped.
The physical contact was instituted by Detective Moretti, correct?
Correct.
During that physical contact, did he come in contact with anybody else?
I think he brushed up against Mr. Trackman. He definitely bumped him or brushed him or something. That was unintentional, though. I don't believe he did that intentionally.
What happened after he got the phone?
After he got the phone, Mr. Trackman and Miss King were both very upset. Miss King needed to call her employer, she said, and she asked if she could please have her phone to call her employer. Detective Moretti would not allow her to have her phone. I said that she could use my phone, and I asked to get the number, but He couldn't get into the phone, and that wasn't going to work out. So I tried to talk to Detective Moretti in front of Mr. Trackman and Miss King to see how long it would take him to do what he needed to do with her phone. And I don't remember what his exact words were, but he suggested that he would get it back to her as soon as possible, maybe even that day.
Okay. Do you know if he gave it back to her that day?
He did not.
Do you understand? I don't believe it's ever been given back.
I understand because I read Mr. Trackman's motion to return property.
So after he says he'll be given back in the day, or maybe by the end of the day, what happens?
So at that point, I walk out. I can't recall if I called Mr. Killer in or I saw him in person because it was probably close to the lunch hour.
We're falling
And I
behind.
told
Let
him,
me
I
see if
said,
we can
"Listen,"
bump this to
I said, I can't work
1.35.
with Detective Moretti anymore.
I think you jumped ahead.
I did.
Because something happened after they left as far as another deputy coming up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So Deputy Gorell came in.
Let's,
If this is too fast, let me know.
They leave the room.
Okay, what happens?
Once they leave the room, Deputy Gorell, who I didn't know his name, he came into the room, and Detective Moretti looked at him and said, "You need to." Deputy Moretti said Detective Moretti said to Deputy Morell, "You need to say you were here when I served that search warrant."
Wow.
And it was kind of like an awkward moment. Someone described it as kind of getting punched twice in the head. So there's a search warrant that gets served. And I'm like, what's going on? And then the next thing, he's asking this deputy to lie for him. And again, I'm like, this is like, I'm in the twilight. So I'm like, this can't.
This is so huge. This is a prosecutor testifying under oath that the lead detective asked another officer to lie. Oh my God, this is insane.
And we need to point out there's two different issues here because you've got the failure to follow proper procedure in searching the search warrant, serving the search warrant. Then you've got the lying, and then you've got the physical removal of the phone from the woman, despite not having a properly served search warrant. And so he's basically saying, you need to lie so that my ass is covered, having forcefully removed that phone from that woman's hand.
Exactly. This is nuts. Literally,
I'm not sure if it's that I'm not sure if the silent PS. I'm not sure if it's that she's honest or whether or not this is on tape, and she knows that her ass would be in the fire if she didn't. So I'm really curious.
She's honest. I mean, either way, she's on. She's one of the prosecutors. There's the two prosecutors. Bradley she was the lead prosecutor, and this is one of the ladies from the prosecutor's office that was also there. Oh my God! And we'll see when she's done. They're going to call the other one. They're going to call Bradley the lead prosecutor back.
And this is going to be interesting as well because I want to see whether or not their stories match now.
Yeah, I mean, please be honest. We don't need to be. This is literally a prosecutor saying that this is the lady that said she will never work another case with Officer Moretti because he has expressed a willingness to lie, to manufacture evidence. Yeah, Whiskey 77 with the $5 super chat says, "I don't know why you're upset. They investigated themselves and found no wrongdoing." Lamau.
The irony is that the one that works for their equivalent of Internal Affairs found that something was wrong.
Wow. All right. I mean, this is huge testimony. I've never seen anything. I know I've said this like 100 times. I've never seen anything like this ever.
Really be happening. Deputy Gorell didn't say anything of any substance. I think he said, "Is there anything I'm needed for anymore?" or something like that. I don't remember if he said anything at all. It was just a very awkward moment after Detective Moretti said that to me.
Okay. And you specifically remember what was said?
I vividly remember what was said, yes.
So after that was said and after Gorell leaves, do you say anything to Moretti?
No, I don't say anything to Moretti. I leave the room. I'm done with the statement. As far as I'm concerned, I'm done investigating this case.
Why?
because I don't work with detectives that solicit lies.
Oh my God.
Holy shit.
This guy's
I reported it immediately on that day
To whom?
to Mr. Killerman.
And Mr. Children is your immediate supervisor.
Correct.
And what happened then?
So the next day after I reported it, I asked Mr. Killerman, what did administration say about this?
This guy's, this whole thing is fucked.
I'm not asking for opinions on how they're going to try a case or anything like that. I'm asking for factual things, what occurred. Has nothing to do with preparation of the case. It is not work product that is protected.
That's factual. And all that is protected at this point. Because at least, they've always got laws and in writing and any possible.
No, this isn't to dismiss the trial. This is to have a new prosecutor's office assigned to the case.
Investigated inside working to the office.
How is a complaint that an officer lied and what should be done as far as investigating an officer that lied? How is that work product in this case?
We're going back to Brady.
This is simply facts, and that is discoverable. I'm not asking for your opinions, your theories, or anything like that. Just facts about occurred. Hold on. Hold on.
The whole damn system's out of order.
This is what I was trying to put out with. So we're moving out of the realm of motion we're here on deck.
Yeah, just when we thought it was the defense that had evil plans and stuff.
Any further argument on this issue right now?
I'll give you the
I'll give you a time. Thank you. Objection sustained. Ask your next question.
Okay. So, if I'm correct, you spoke to Mr. Killerman. Mr. Killerman talked to administration. That's where you've been sustainable, correct?
I sustained the last question, so you, I don't want to recap. You just ask your next question.
Do you know who Mr. Killerman spoke with?
Yes, he spoke with Mr. Pryor and
Fuck.
Ms. Falk.
Okay. Did he relate to you that he had spoken?
Yes.
And did he relate to you that the substance of the conversation was what you had told him?
Sustained.
I'm just speechless.
Sir, I'm not offering this to you.
I sustained the objection. Ask your next
Oh,
question.
shut up.
You talk.
But I did at that point when I hadn't heard anything back as to the information that I relayed to Mr. Killerman is I called a meeting.
Okay.
I asked Chris to set up a meeting with Mr. Pryor and him and Ms. Falk.
Okay, when was this?
The meeting took place on October 18th, 2022. I apologize.
And the event that occurred as far as the lying and
Come on, baby. Pull the record. I want to see you throw Pryor under the bus.
October 12th, 2022. It was a Monday or Tuesday.
So you set up the meeting.
I asked for a meeting. I don't set it up. I say, Chris, I need to speak to administration about this. Can you please set up a meeting?
And was the meeting set up?
It was.
And were you able to speak to whom that day?
I spoke to Ms. Falk, Mr. Pryor, and Mr. Killerman.
And you told them
There it is.
what you told the court that
We're going to say from earlier that now we're starting to get into the investigators, working for the office, and also the leading questions. And then one to going right into that area where now we're going to turn to work product, investigated information. That is why the case law that there's in the motion today concerning the subpoenas says if this is allowed to go up, if this kind of question is allowed to go on with witnesses from a state attorney's office, it's going to bring the whole office down to a fall. Always have why they do what they do, what kind of investigations they do, and the court has said, in the case of in the motion today, even, it's not permissible.
Thank you. My understanding, counsel, is that Ms. Boutros was deposed. There was no objection by the state attorney's office as to her deposition being taken. That there was no issue, any work product issue as to Ms. Boutros had the way she was presented for deposition, and she had an attorney there with her. Ms. Upwood.
Now, her deposition is like 90 pages long.
She answered questions.
The parts that I've seen are really fascinating, but we just can't go through all 90 pages of her deposition.
What she did, and when I say she, I'm talking about Ms. Boutros, what she did or she said, objection notice overruled. She can answer that question. Not so much what Mr. Kilren did or said, or not what Mr. Pryor may have done or said, but as to what you did.
Yeah, basically, that's what the prosecutor's arguing, and he's totally wrong.
So, for on the 20th, and you're having this meeting.
Yes.
Okay. And at this meeting, did you voice again what occurred in front of you?
I described exactly what happened as I described it today.
Okay. And without going into what was said to you, when you got done with the meeting, did you have an impression of what was going to occur?
No, I didn't have an impression until probably 2 days later.
Okay, what happened 2 days later?
I learned that Ms. Bradley told administration that Moretti told her that he was joking when he said...
Yeah, it's all jokes. It's all jokes. Brady told the lead prosecutor, it's all jokes. We were just joking when I said, please lie to manufacture evidence.
I sustain that objection.
I did not ask what the substance of it was.
I sustain the objection. Ask the next question.
Yes, this witness is part of the the prosecutor's office. She's part of the prosecutor's office. Yeah, just a prank, bro.
What did you do next?
I didn't do anything next. After I had the meeting with Mr. Killoran and he relayed to me what he relayed to me about what Ms. Bradley had told administration.
I don't have a link. I just have the
assumption was
document.
that it was handled.
Okay. And this was when?
I'll figure something out, Corpo.
This was probably the same week.
So we're talking October, maybe towards the beginning of November, whatever, but October probably of 2020.
It was just a few days before he told me.
And that was the end of your involvement?
Correct. Until I believe it was the defense filed a motion trying to compel my name and I'm sorry.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
I apologize. I misspoke anyway. The next thing that happened was that I got a message that Internal Affairs in Miramar wanted to take my statement.
Wow.
Okay. And what did you do when you got that message?
I called Mr. Killoran. I said, I got a request to give a statement to Internal Affairs. Please ask Mr. Pryor if I'm permitted to do so. And I subsequently gave the statement to IA.
Okay. And then what happened next for your involvement?
Yeah, well, she clearly doesn't think it's a joke because she said she would never work with that detective again.
Until the defense filed a motion, I believe it was the motion to compel my name for the investigation. And if I could refer to my notes.
No, that's going to help you refresh your recollection.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Whew. So we're going to take a break here in a bit, but we're still going. Jesus.
Okay.
Flux. Freudian slips. This lady is pussed.
Sometime prior to November 18th, maybe.
Paging Dr. Freud.
I don't have
Paging
the dates
Dr.
in front of me.
Freud.
I learned that there was a motion to compel my name. I revisited this conversation with Mr. Killer, and I'm like, well, what happened with that? And he didn't know. I'm like, talk to administration. What happened with that? And I'm kind of a pest, so I kind of kept on it. And then there was a hearing on September 15th of 2023, and I saw Ms. Bradley announce on the record that the IA investigation had been closed.
You know it had been closed.
I did not know. again, I gave my statement and I was kind of done. So I was out of it.
Okay. And when you heard that, what did that cause you to do?
I kept bringing it up to Mr. Killer, and I was a pest about it. Like, is there a notice? I kept checking on safes like 100 times to see if a notice had been filed, because we did have a meeting after it was closed. Again, with Mr. Pryor, Mr. Killer, and myself. Ms. Falk wasn't present at that meeting. And during that meeting, I said, I really feel like this needs to be disclosed. And Mr. Pryor agreed with me.
Sustained.
You wrote that it needed to be disclosed.
Yes.
Okay. And this is after you got the word that the IA had completed, which was sometime in July of 2023. So this puts us somewhere.
Sustained. Counsel, just ask a question, all right?
When was this?
This was on the meeting was on the 18th. It was on the 18th of September 2023.
Okay.
I had began at that before then, kind of looking into it.
There's no question pending. Ask your next question.
The meeting, did you do anything before that meeting?
I learned that a video was pulled from BSO and given to Internal Affairs. And I learned that Ms. Bradley called Internal Affairs.
Sustained.
Okay, I'm not going to ask you what Ms. Bradley's.
Okay.
So you learned that. What did you do next?
Well, that's when I started bringing it up again. I started bringing up, what's going on with this case? What's going on with, who knows about what happened with Detective Moretti?
Okay, and who were you bringing this up with?
Mr. Killeran.
And
I think the judge is angry at the state, not just his witness.
He was trying.
Sustained.
I was asking Mr. Killeran.
Excuse me. I sustain the objection. Ask another question.
She's trying so hard.
What else did you say to Mr. Killeran?
She wants to throw
that I wanted to have
everybody
a
under the
meeting with
bus.
administration.
Yeah.
And was that arranged?
That was the meeting on September 18th.
I'm
2023.
imagining she's going to be switching careers here in the very near future.
Yep.
I said, this is what happened again. And I said, you were told this by Ms. Bradley back in October of 2022.
Expect to see defense lawyer Boudreaux some point in the near future.
Well, wouldn't you though, knowing that this kind of
Objection noted. Overruled.
dirt is going on in the prosecutor's office?
I reminded Mr. Pryor that this had happened, that she had explained that Moretti said it, but he was joking back in October of 2022.
Fucking joke.
And at that point, we all agreed there was going to be a notice sent.
You reminded Mr. Pryor.
Yes. Not that he had forgotten. I was like, this is what was said. He said it, and Christine said he said it, but he was joking.
Okay. As far as this joking, obviously, you don't know exactly what was in the mind of Detective Moretti.
No, I do not.
But were there any overt signs that you saw of joking? He laughed, he chuckled, he winked, or anything?
Of course not. He was covering his ass.
That's a true statement.
Correct.
She says he's not joking.
Were you reminded of Mr. Pryor of the meeting a year or so earlier? What happened at Courtroom?
There was a meeting between Mr. Pryor, Mr. Killeran, and Ms. Falk, where Christine was asked again.
Excuse me. Were you present at the meeting?
I was not.
All right, so I want you to talk about what you did, what your involvement. I don't want you to go forward with other things, all right?
Okay, fair enough. Only testify about the things you directly witnessed. That's a fair instruction from the judge.
Mr. Killeran drafted a draft of a Brady notice after that meeting.
Okay. Did you see that draft?
I did. It was sent to me via email.
Okay. And what happened with that draft?
That draft was not filed.
Let me ask you, why would it, and the head of the Public Corruptions Unit be filing a Brady notice in this sort of case? Again, she can't see for what was going on.
This is so crazy.
The issue of policy,
Thank you. The objection sustained. Could we just have a clarification as to what date we're talking about, though, Counsel?
That's what I thought she said.
The draft?
Yes.
May I refer to my notes?
Mrs. Kegler, if you don't send it to him, send it to me.
Yeah, I have I have her deposition. Like 89 pages of the deposition. See, when the lawyer wants to get out of something due to ethical concerns, they have to do what's called a noisy withdrawal. They have to protest their entire fucking way out the door. They can't just go, I want to be excused and I don't want to tell you why. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's saying, I'm out because of all of these reasons.
September 20th of 2023, Mr. Killoran sent me a draft of the proposed Brady notice that was to be signed by Christine Bradley, with her name on it.
Okay, and what happened with that Brady?
Mr. Killoran delivered it to Ms. Bradley's secretary, Anna, and she was told to sign it and file it, and it was not.
She being Ms. Bradley?
Correct.
Did Ms. Bradley sign it and file it?
No.
What happened with that?
Nothing happened with that notice. No notice was filed at that time.
Wow. What happened next?
The next thing that happened was that a Brady notice was filed. And I was, no.
Has she hung herself yet? No, she's not hanging herself. She is throwing the entire fucking prosecutor's office under the bus.
May I refresh my recollection?
She's the defense hero here.
9/22/23.
No, I have the document. I just don't have a link to the document. I have all 90 pages downloaded already.
I asked for permission to speak with Mr. Benjamin. I sent a text message to Mr. Pryor and Mr. Killoran. And then Mr. Killoran called me.
Thank you. I sustained the objection. I don't want to know what you were advised by the administration, but as far as what you did or what happened next that you were involved with, you're more than welcome to answer the question.
Upon Mr. Killoran returning my phone call, I returned Mr. Benjamin's phone call, and I discussed with him what had happened on the October 12th statement and everything thereafter.
What did you tell Mr. Benjamin?
I told Mr. Benjamin about the incident on the 12th. I told Mr. Benjamin about
Mr. Benjamin is YNW Melly's new lawyer, new lead lawyer.
Moretti said it was joking. I told Mr. Benjamin that Ms. Bradley had said to administration.
She said she told me that. Thank you. Objection notes overruled. You can answer the question. This is what you said or did. Go ahead.
I told Mr. Benjamin that I had reported it to Mr. Killoran, that he had reported it to administration, that administration had called in Ms. Bradley, that Ms. Bradley said that Moretti said it, but he was joking. I told Mr. Benjamin that a motion to return the phone had been filed in November of 22 and heard in December or February of 23. That I told him that I saw the hearing where the IA investigation had been closed. I told him that a video had been pulled and discussions had been had with internal affairs
because
with Ms. Bradley and
found out about it.
Parker that I heard, and that I don't know for a fact. I told him that the administration brought Ms. Bradley in again and asked her again.
And Whiskey 77 with the $5 super chat. The most dangerous witness is a lawyer. Don't object, you're screwed. Object, you're screwed. Lol. Kind of what's happening here. The prosecutors are looking really bad because this is one of their own testifying against them and the detective in charge.
The bottom line of this is through our motions, we are not only accusing Ms. Bradley of needing to be recused, but the entire state attorney's office needs to be recused. And part of that is to show institutional prejudice or institutional action. So the things that you have not permitted us to go into as to what did the administration do and whatnot, that goes directly to whether or not we have the administration, the state attorney's office actively involved in suppressing this information or turning a blind eye on it to allow Ms. Bradley to get away with Brady violations and violations of my client's 14th Amendment rights and 6th Amendment rights.
The judge's bias.
And that, and we're losing sight of that. We have the right to go into what did administration know, what did they say, when did they know it, when did they say it, and what did they do. That's the only way that we can show institutional prejudice.
Thank you. Counsel, the objection was pending as to what she advised in this conversation with your co-counsel, Mr. Benjamin, and that objection will proceed.
Did you tell Mr. Benjamin about the various meetings that had taken place as far as with you and members of the administration?
I did. There were several discussions between me and Mr. Killeran. I explained to him that I had spoken to Mr. Killeran about whether a notice had been sent. I explained that I had spoken to our appellate division.
Looks like we're going to take a break here in about 3 or 4 minutes.
That we had further discussed whether this
Pretty
needed to
brief
be
period.
disclosed. I explained that Mr. Pryor and Ms. Falk summoned Ms. Bradley to come into their office. They, with Mr. Killeran and Mr. Pryor, specifically asked her again, who told you that Moretti was joking?
My objection, and I welcome it. Counsel was talking about his juvenile. None of that in his motion for hearing today. He's on outside four corners of the
Just sit your ass down.
Yeah, we can't hear you, so shut up anyway.
Hearing, I have hearing and they filed that amended motion for the city, not in any question of what this on.
Yes, I have all of the motions.
Any requirements necessary.
Thank you, Alabama Rose.
Amended motion for the city, not ambush, and then continue the hearing that would be properly. So you not have problem.
Counsel, my understanding is that the state attorney's office allowed Ms. Cruz to give a deposition. She was opposed on those matters, and it was discussed. There's no claim of privilege or work product or anything like that because she's testified it. And the way I understood the deposition, she testified it.
I'm supposed to be on Bronca's stream here in 5 minutes, but I can't. We're involved in this.
Yeah.
Your objection noted is overruled. Counsel, you may proceed.
So just finishing up with what else you would have told Mr. Benjamin.
So I went through my notes basically.
Mr. Trackman, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know if you're a witness in this case, but they've asked to have the rule of sequestration imposed. I don't know if you're a witness. If you are, you need to step outside.
We will not be.
Wow, shit! Another one of the prosecutors apparently showed up, or one. It was either one of the prosecutors or one of the detectives showed up, and the judge just went off the damn hook. Trackman, I can't remember if I can't remember if Trackman's one of the prosecutors or one of the cops, but the judge is just calling him to telling him to get the fuck out.
Counsel, my understanding is that the state attorney's office allowed Ms. Cruz to give a deposition. She was opposed on those matters, and it was discussed. There's no claim of privilege or work product or anything like that because she's testified it. And the way I understood the deposition, she testified it with the knowledge and consent of the administration that she was permitted to do that. So your objection noted is overruled. Counsel, you may proceed.
So just finishing up with what else you would have told Mr. Benjamin.
So I went through my notes basically.
Excuse me, Mr. Trackman, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know if you're a witness in this
don't
case,
know what
but
you're
they've asked
doing.
to have the rule of sequestration imposed. I don't know if you're a witness. If you are, you need to step outside.
We will not be calling.
My understanding was, Your Honor, that I was not listed as a witness.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wow.
I think I had a question that you're about to answer, and I don't remember my question, but.
So I basically went through the sequence of events with Mr. Benjamin. I went through the sequence of events with Mr. Benjamin. So the last thing I was telling you is that Mr. Pryor asked Mr. Benjamin.
Excuse me, I don't want to know what Mr. Pryor asked Mr. Benjamin unless this is
I
part of
told-
the conversation
it
that
was.
you advised Mr. Benjamin.
It was, I told Mr. Benjamin that upon hearing what was going on, they resummoned Christine into the office and asked her again, who told you that Moretti said he was joking? And she said, Moretti did. And then I told Mr. Benjamin that later that day, that was at the time that, and I might be getting my dates mixed up, but that Christine sent a text message to Ms. Falk that stated that she never said,
That objection's noted over. Proceed.
she never said that it was Moretti, and I didn't see the text message, but I told him that she said that it was Burrell that said it.
Okay, so if I'm understanding, you're telling Mr. Benjamin that originally she said it was Detective Moretti said it was a joke, and then she later on changed it with Detective Deputy Burrell that said it was a joke.
Yes, I told Mr. Benjamin that she told administration and Mr. Killeran that it was Detective Moretti in September of 23. I told Mr. Benjamin that back in October of 22, she told administration that it was Moretti and that he was joking. I told Mr. Benjamin that my statement to IA included that Ms. Bradley had said that it was Moretti, and he was joking to my administration. After that, I don't think anything had happened after the conversation with Mr. Benjamin. The next thing that happened was that I received the Brady notice that Mr. Benjamin sent me on the 24th of September of 23.
Okay, are we up to where Mr. Deputy Gorell is mentioned?
That's the first Brady notice that I received that Mr. Benjamin forwarded to me on Sunday, the 24th of September, 2023.
Right. Well, I guess we can kind of bump through this.
Yes, he sent me an email on Sunday morning that included.
Oh, and real quickly here, let's get these other. Jinver, not all heroines wear capes. Maybe all capes do heroin. I don't know. Marv White with the $5 super chat. Does anyone else think the state lost this already? Judge seems like he's done. Well, like I'm saying, even if this amounts to nothing and the judge just says no harm, no foul, whatever. As soon as Moretti takes the stand in the retrial, the first question is going to be, have you ever falsified evidence against anyone? The second question is going to be, is it true that there are prosecutors who will not work with you ever again on any cases because you have shown a propensity to falsify witnesses against defendants in a death penalty case? This is fucked for the prosecution. Their job has just increased exponentially. Dang. All right, we need to give them because we are still 30 minutes behind. Jeez.
A copy of the Brady notice that had been filed.
And we're at 1.25 speed.
It was September 23rd.
Hang tight. I'll be back again.
I'm doing my best not to make a joke about the guy with the glasses. Seems like it'd be pretty self-serving.
Yes.
You
said that Mr. Drayton sent you an email along with an attachment.
Correct.
And that was on the morning of the 20th.
Correct.
And that attachment was a copy of a Brady notice.
Correct.
Let me show you what's been marked as defense exhibit G. Identification.
I recognize this.
You do. What do you recognize this as?
It's a notice pursuant to Rule 3.220B4, signed by Christine Bradley on the 23rd of September, 2023.
Is that a copy of what Mr. Benjamin sent you?
I had to read it.
Ironically, Nancy, this is more juicy than certain episodes of Law and Order.
Correct. This is what Mr. Benjamin sent. Yes, it is.
Your Honor, this time I'd like to have moved into evidence of defense against Exhibit 1.
Objection.
Good luck trying to keep that Brady notice out. Are you kidding me?
Want to give the clerk the note, Mark? Want to give to the clerk, no, Mark?
Mr. Schultz, in defense of Exhibit 1, if you look at that, it states The undersigned spoke with Deputy Detective Moretti.
What's the objection?
Sorry, got sidetracked on the way past the fridge.
Sustained.
Did I miss anything super important?
Just the prosecution trying to keep one of the Brady notices out of evidence.
And I assume that every exhibit that we have filed is now going to be considered as part of the record for this motion.
Whatever's admitted will be part of the record.
Wow.
So far you've admitted, my understanding is one, is that correct?
Right, but you're saying that you've reviewed other stuff, and that's.
No, I've reviewed the notices. All I'm saying is I've reviewed the Brady notice.
Okay. I can still ask a question related.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
I just didn't want you to read the whole notice.
No, I'm reading the last line of it, actually. Okay. It says here, the undersigned spoke with Detective Moretti in regards to this incident, and Detective Moretti said he asked Deputy Worrell if Deputy Worrell was there when the phone ceased. Deputy Worrell responded something to the effect of, I can be if you need me to be. Did that occur?
No, it did not.
Okay. And as far as Detective Moretti asking if Deputy Worrell, if he was there when the phone was seized, the room, as you said, was small enough that he would know that he was there or not, correct?
I can't testify as to what Detective Moretti knew, but it would, in my opinion, it would be impossible not to know if somebody was in that room.
Well, you'd expect the lead investigator on first degree murder case to be able to see who's in the room of 6 months.
Don't argue with the witness, counsel. Counsel sustained. Don't argue with the witness.
Okay, so, Mr. Benjamin, did you talk about this after?
I responded to Mr. Benjamin and explained that that was not accurate. I actually blind copied Mr. Pryor, Ms. Falk, and Mr. Killeran on that email. And I reiterated what I told him during that conversation.
Okay, and you copied them?
I did.
Did they respond to you
No.
without saying what they responded?
They didn't.
What happened next as far as you recall?
Can I look at my notes to refresh my recollection?
Good refresh recollection she made.
Look at your notes, refresh your recollection, and think the prosecutor's case even further.
I asked Mr. Killeran Monday morning, the 25th, or Tuesday morning, I think the 25th was a holiday.
It was a Saturday.
It was.
22nd, so it was Friday, that's right, the 23rd was Saturday.
So I might be mixing up my dates. Maybe the 24th is when Mr. Benjamin sent me the email.
Every Sunday.
Okay, so he sent it to me on a Sunday, but Monday was a holiday, I believe, that Monday. Maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I know the next thing that did was the beginning of that next week. I asked Mr. Killeran, what is this and why was this filed? Because no one had responded to this Brady notice.
What did we just walk in there?
Yes.
Okay. And you asked what this was?
Yes, and I requested the emails that went back and forth that resulted in that Brady notice from the night of the 22nd of September 2023. I requested on email.
Did you get that?
I did.
And did that explain to you how this notice went out?
No. The emails that I reviewed were directions that should not be filed because it was inaccurate.
Now, she's no longer testifying to what she told me. Now she's telling what the years it is inside.
Thank you. Objection sustained.
Okay. What happened next? What did you do?
I'm refreshing my recollection again.
I'm reading the documents again. Just
Not even going to ask the judge. I'm just, Your Honor, I'm doing it.
I received a call on 9/26/23 from Mr. Price.
Okay. And relating to this incident?
Correct.
What did you do in relation to that call? Did you meet with somebody?
No, I didn't. He just called me.
And you spoke about this without going into what I said? This was discussed with Mr. Price?
That's correct.
Okay. What happened next?
They asked me to join a meeting with them at 3:30 p.m. on September 26th, 23.
Did you go to that meeting?
I did.
And what did you say?
lovely court audio again.
We just discussed that there was going to be a new Brady notice.
I was just asking what you said. If you don't remember specifically what you said, then.
I asked if a new Brady notice was going to go out to correct the one that was sent out on the 24th or the 23rd of September.
I'm sorry, I'm not. That's your phone now.
So I wanted there to be a correction to the Brady notice that was sent out by Ms. Bradley on the 23rd or the 24th of September.
That is what you voiced.
Yes.
And what occurred after?
They requested another meeting on the 27th of 2023 at 9 a.m. in the morning.
Were you there?
I was.
Without going into what other people said, did you say anything more?
Yes, I did. I suggested that Ms. Bradley probably shouldn't be calling me a liar in this situation because I had learned that she had done that the day before in front of a group of people in the office.
So you said you were lying?
Yes.
Anything else that you said that night?
No. I mean, other than there was a Brady notice in between that time. So there was a new Brady notice. We discussed that.
Is that the one that Mr. Killer was?
Yes, that was on the 26th of September, 2023.
I'm pretty sure my dog just walked straight into my door.
I'm gonna have to drive you crazy today, Peter. I'm not gonna swear. Because you said that on the 27th, whatever it was, you had a meeting, and in between that time, there had been another Brady notice.
Correct.
Did you ever see that Brady?
I did.
And who signed that Brady?
Mr. Killeran.
Okay. Let me show you what the department has you said it has for identification.
Oh, sorry. Yes, at some point it came off full screen. What have I done? Hang on. Right. Sorry about that, folks. Don't know when that happened, but let's do it again. Bam, there we go.
You recognize?
I recognize this.
Sorry
It's a
about that.
Brady notice, amended notice pursuant to Rule 3.220B4, signed by Mr. Killeran.
And is it an exact copy of what you had seen previously?
It is.
And I'd like to move this into evidence.
Admitted. Present to the court, please. No marking.
It's Is it an exact copy of what you had seen previously?
It is.
And I'd like to move this into evidence.
Admitted. Present to the court, please. No marking.
Present to the court. Let's see here. Some questions. Taking a little break there in about 10 minutes.
Now, in this vote is going to the last paragraph. It says the lead ASA assigned to this matter relate to SA vote administrators that she spoke
Yes.
to detective
Brady material is stuff that's potentially exculpatory or is just favorable to the defendant.
The lead ASA subsequently filed a Brady notice with the court on September 23rd, 2023, which stated that Detective Moretti told her that Detective Moretti asked Deputy Goral if Deputy Goral was there when the phone was seized, and Deputy Goral responded something to the effect that I can be if you need me to be. Again, that did not occur. Yes, before.
Oh God, Richard Harris, there is no way to summarize this absolute shit show of the last 3 hours.
Oh, I disagree. Prosecution was shady as fuck. One of their owns turned on them, and this is her on the stand.
Proceed.
Okay.
Then the last part of that says, additionally, the lead ASA relayed to a state attorney office administrator that the deputy was the one trying to be funny. Was Deputy Goral trying to be funny?
No.
Did you even hear him say anything that?
No.
Okay. Do you know if Deputy Goral was ever contacted?
I don't know.
Would it be up to Ms. Bradley to contact Deputy Goral?
I don't believe so. He's not a witness on her case.
Okay, so if she went out and she contacted Deputy Goral to appear for Detective Moretti, that would not be office policy for her.
I don't know.
What's the question? What's the objection? Sustained.
Thank you, Judge Hoy. I try.
Would it be a homicide prosecutor's job to speak with a witness that deals with a tampering investigation as far as whether another witness lied?
I'm not really sure what you mean. Are you asking me if Miss Bradley would have normally contacted Detective or Deputy Gorell to see if?
Yes, is that normal?
I can't say that that's normal or not normal. I mean, that's a different crime, different investigation.
What happened next?
You took my deposition on Friday of last week.
Well, did another Brady notice come out?
Oh, yes, I apologize. So the next thing that happened was that during that deposition that you took of me last Friday, you showed me a copy of the Brady notice that was filed on the 28th. I hadn't seen that prior to our deposition.
Okay. Were you expecting another Brady notice to be filed?
I was.
Why is that?
Because that's what I was told that was going to happen.
And
against the wishes of the administration.
The state.
let me show you what has been marked as defense speech. Do you recognize this?
I do.
What is it?
It's a copy of a second amended notice pursuant to Rule 3.220 before signed by Ms. Bradley on the 28th day of September 2023.
And that had been presented to you prior to your deposition?
No, you presented it to me during my deposition, or Mr. Benjamin did. Somebody presented it to me during my deposition.
And the testimony in your deposition reflects some of the things that are in this document.
Correct.
Your Honor, I'd like to move this to heaven.
Say yes. Like you have, sorry.
All right, well, they're doing it. That's worth as much as we can.
She spoke with Detective Moretti regarding this incident, and that Detective Moretti explained that his statement to Deputy Gorell was a joke when she intended to relay that which is contained in the Brady notice filed on September 23rd, 2024. Additionally, the undersigned relayed to a state attorney administrator that the deputy was the one trying to be funny. Is this accurate?
Just trying to be funny.
No, but I don't see that as a fact notice. It's her saying she accidentally said something.
Just accidentally saying something, or Detective Moretti saying it was a joke, or not saying it was a joke, or whatever. How many times did you hear her say that she spoke to Detective Moretti?
Did I personally hear her say?
Yeah.
I didn't ever hear her personally say that.
It was all through administration.
It was all through administration and through Mr. Killoran's Brady notice, and I heard it through Chris Killoran and Mr. Pryor, and that's how I heard it. I haven't spoken to Ms. Bradley about this case since October of 2022.
Did you do anything else in this case after you gave us the deposition?
No.
All right, 9 seconds to speak.
Yes.
And then the prosecutor flips on them. And this is a woman who's been basically doing IA work for 20 years. Now she's on the receiving end. And she's like, hey, I'm not going to be in this position.
That are going back and forth in the office starting in July of 2020, October 2022, dealing with the issue of Brady.
I don't know if there were emails that went back and forth between administration and Chris. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have been included on those emails. There were emails that went on over the last month or so related to this issue, but I don't know what was sent back and forth.
How about text messages?
Not with me. I wasn't part of any of those text messages if they existed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Very, very, very. What? Well,
I just want to clarify, I did on direct, you said that the investigation that you're working on, the one where there was Trackman, and I believe that was not correct, was be separate from murder.
That's not what I testified to. It was supposed to be, but that's not how it turned out.
But was that evidence of murder or murder trial? Evidence of murder trial, any out of that investigation? Just the investigation of the case while you're serving something. Okay.
So I think that I'm not understanding your question. I'm not trying to be evasive.
Restate your question. On to clarify, the investigation for we're working on.
The tampering of Ms. King, okay?
Part of the murder case, or was it separate?
Well, it would have been a separate charge because Ms. King isn't a suspect or being accused of the homicide case, but the evidence itself could have been admitted if she and Mr. Demons had been tampering, if that's how Ms. Bradley had decided to try her case. It depends on the circumstances. That's a strategic decision, and I wouldn't be able to answer that question. If something came out of that deposition or of that statement that somehow was describing that Ms. King and Mr. Demons had paid one of the witnesses or something, I would assume it would be part of the murder trial to show that they were tampering and consciousness of guilt. But that again is, I'm not very familiar with all the facts and circumstances of the actual homicide, so I can't really answer that question. But I think I said that it was a separate crime. Is that what you're referring to? That's not what I was talking about when I said that.
And I was reading so much, but it's also unclear, so I mentioned it very early.
I spoke to Mr. Trackman at the time. I don't remember everything I told him. I told him about the deputy not being in the room and that I thought that was an issue. I apologized to him for how everything went down. I don't know if I told him what Moretti's statement was because I had reported that to administration and to Chris. But I wanted to make sure he understood where I stood on the service of the search warrant. But I did speak with him.
And it was short. Remember how long?
It must have been the same day, maybe the next day, but this was back in October of 22. So I know that the first thing was to report it to my supervisors. The next thing was for me to report it to the attorney that I was working with that had his client's phone seized at the time. So that's correct.
Excuse. Thank you. You may step down your excuse.
Thank you.
It's now 12 o'clock. We'll see everybody back at, let's say, 1:15. All right. Thank you. Have a nice one.
May I be excused for the day, Your Honor?
Thank you.
Oh, wow. Okay,
Holy
so she's
crap.
excused.
And they're now on break till lunch at 1:15.
$1:15, huh? $1:15 Eastern. That's shit. I don't know what to do. We can't just sit here and do nothing for another 45 minutes. I wasn't expecting this shit, to tell you the truth.
No. I mean, look, either way. Yeah, I can't last that long anyway. Either way, I'm gonna dip because I want to go and make fun of Bronco. But that was the whole purpose of me really staying awake. But this is holy shit.
No, this is a big thing, people. I mean, this does not happen.
No,
just flat out does not happen. You do not have someone who works for the prosecutor's office come forward and say the lead detective has been fucking falsifying evidence in a capital murder trial, and they're never ever going to work with that person ever again because of this, and to flip and testify for the defense and to be cross-examined by someone in their own office. This doesn't happen. I've never seen anything like this.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Seriously. Yeah, I can't hang around for 45 minutes and then do this. So, folks, what I think we're going to do is we'll shut this stream down now. I've got shit to do during the weekend, but I will make time when I wake up in the morning, and I'll clear my schedule, and I'll probably come back and wrap this up around 9 p.m. Eastern time, US time, somewhere around there. 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern, we'll start streaming and wrap this up. Because I'm curious. I can't wait until Tuesday or whatever the hell day is my next free day of streaming. I want to know how this ends. This is ridiculously important. I mean, I'm just being so redundant when I say I've never seen anything like this. It's crazy.
It's insane, honestly.
So let's see how it goes. People stay tuned, because we will, as soon as I wake up in the morning. I mean, part of my morning, I'm going to be hanging out with Nicholas Starov. He's doing a Friday stream. I promised him I'd hang out with him a bit, and then House of Flux and I were just going to hang out and chill for a bit. As soon as I finish that, which I assume will be sometime around 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern, I'll pick this up where we left off, and we'll watch the afternoon or whatever the hell they're doing. Because we need to figure out how this is going before the weekend's finished. Because I'm curious. Because this is crazy. What do you think, Oz? What's your thoughts on this, Hayden?
I genuinely cannot believe it's gotten this far. I mean, honestly, I've by the end of that, I felt like the judge's last sentence was going to be "get Pryor down here now." I thought that's how far that was going to go. Given that she had so many meetings with him, given that they were well aware of this, given that there were multiple Brady notices that were filed, and yet the one that should have been wasn't, and that he was aware of it.
And they sat on it for 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. Well, so we'll funnel everybody into Andrew Branca's stream now, and then Hayden and I are going to fuck off on over there. For a bit. So, check us out. I'm putting in the redirect right now. He's had a bit of a problem with the Colorado State Bar.
Yeah, I'm listening to it in my ear. It's freaking hilarious.
They searched his website, and they want a free T-shirt they gave him back.
Gosney's over there, Hempland.
So we're gonna go over there, and probably 8, 9, 10 hours from now, we'll pick up where we left off. Mods, thank you so much for being here. Chat, please check your Twitter, check my YouTube. Find out where we are. We will be back in 8, 9, 10 hours from now to finish this up. Thank you, everybody, for the huge support you've shown. Thank you, Ozzy, for staying up till you're at 3:30 in the morning now. Jeez.
I probably won't be doing a stream this morning, people. I'm just putting it out there. Hello, Strawberry.
Yes, he's in the middle of reading it as we speak. Brandon Lesko. So we'll fuck off on over there, and we'll see you all 8, 9, 10 hours from now. Thank you, everybody. Seriously. See you later. Catch you. We're out. On behalf of Ozzy, who is not a piece of shit, nor am I, nor are you, etc., etc., take care.